All right, breaking right now, the latest advisory is in here on Hurricane Henri. Still a Category 1 hurricane. No real changes with the strength, 75-mile-per-hour storm. We're looking at pressure has dropped just a little bit, so trying to strengthen. 987 millibars. Moving to the north at a very fast clip, 21 miles per hour. And take a look at the location now. Look at how much distance it has made just in those last 3 hours. 135 miles southeast of Montauk. That's it. You do the math. 20 mile per hour moving storm, only a little over 100 miles away. We're going to see landfall here in hours. And Ray, this is the track, likely bringing it into New England, Long Island, and then into the coast of Maine by early next week.
Yeah, I'm surprised by the forward speed staying where it is.
It looks like it's moving a lot faster.
Yeah, it does. And, you know, some may wake up and this thing may already be on your doorstep this morning. So we're going to have to watch. Watch very closely as start to feel direct or indirect impacts here from Henri. And as we had said, a Cat 1 heading north and just east of north pretty quickly.
All right, we got some new video into us here out of New York City. By the way, New York has been hard hit by rain from Henri. Brooklyn, over 6 inches of rain has fallen, and a lot of that in about a 3-hour time span. Take a look at this. This is from rain that has caused ceilings to collapse here. The fire department in New York responding to calls as they try to help out. You can see that water draining down the wall.
A flash flood warning has been issued for our area.
Yeah, water gets everywhere, and it's just amazing how damaging water can be. And cleanup crew in there, trying to get the water out, and with more flash flooding possible, if not likely, as we go through the coming hours, Chris. I think it gets worse, or we see more flooding come in before it gets better.
Yeah, we know we're going to get more rain, so that means more flooding likely there, especially around New York City. Thank you for trusting the Weather Channel as we break down what is coming with Henri and how soon it will arrive, likely sooner than you may think.
Yeah, if it stays on its current track, we're going to continue to track. 5 a.m. advisory will be the next one. We just did get the 2 o'clock advisory, and not too many changes, which also includes that forward motion at 21 miles per hour. So we'll continue around the clock coverage as we watch impacts from this storm potentially being felt for days.
People in Montauk, New York, Saturday prepping for the storm. Big pile of sand for the sandbags. You're also looking live at Fire Island, New York. If you look closely, I thought that was a raindrop. Those are bugs. I don't know. Does that look like rain? That does look like rain.
Looks like snow.
I don't know. It looks like we're starting to get a few sprinkles. It's not long, though, before the rain pushes in, and boy, is it going to be raining hard here. A lot of the rain right now has been east of there or west of there into New York City. And remember, we've got hurricane warnings in effect for much of Long Island into southern New England, right?
All right, Henri currently a 75-mile-per-hour storm. This is the latest, the 2 a.m. advisory from the Hurricane Center. Still moving north at 21 miles per hour, and it's starting to get dangerously close to the New England coastline here. At that speed, if it maintains that speed, that's late morning on Sunday. So some may be waking up and thinking, well, maybe it was supposed to be a little bit later. So that's why we want you to stay right here and stay tuned. The pressure is down 2 millibars, but as I had said, still the center at 135 miles southeast of Montauk Point out here right now, and continue to move on off toward the north and northeast. For now, surge warnings and tropical storm warnings and hurricane warnings stay in place.
A flash flood warning has been issued for our area.
We're getting within a 12-hour time frame, most likely, of seeing potentially hurricane conditions, even on out toward Newport in Rhode Island. The red tropical storm warnings. All right, that does include parts of southeastern New York and down into the 5 boroughs of New York City. In and around New York, expecting tropical storm winds, maybe in gusts. We'll have to see, especially with some of those squalls that come on through, if you like to call them that. And here's the center. All right, it does actually look on the satellite picture a little bit more symmetrical or organized is what I would say. But look at this area of thunderstorms kind of get pulled away from the center from that trough and that upper level low to the west. That's what caused that rain in around New York City, and that flooding rain, and more baby on the way here. So although, as we have said and Chris has mentioned, the center's forecast to go in that direction, there will be impacts not only around New York City and Long Island and Jersey, but also to the north in the coming days. So we'll have to watch out for the heavy rain threat to continue here as we go on through Sunday and potentially into Monday morning when it's a weaker system, 35-mile-per-hour area of low pressure, but still Sunday evening, a tropical storm. Storm surge warnings stay in place for now. Coastal Connecticut and Rhode Island and through Massachusetts. And again, kind of splitting Long Island in half. So the eastern part of Suffolk County, that is where the warnings for storm surge are. Storm surge watch is further west. So the greatest surge is probably going to be in this area over here. Chris?
All right, I want to take you out to Buzzards Bay this evening, or late this night, maybe early this morning. 72 degrees. We're about to see some showers push in. These are some of the outermost bands, and they're starting to bring in some light showers. Probably a brief gusty wind up to 30 miles per hour can be expected. Very quick. This isn't going to be the heaviest stuff, but we're not far away from worsening conditions. Storm surge warning, tropical storm warning, and storm surge is the leading killer associated with tropical storms and hurricanes. Hopefully you knew that, and that's why the coastal areas are so vulnerable. But these can travel up the rivers, creeks, and waterways that eventually empty into some of these.
A flash flood warning has been issued for our area.
You can really see now the definition of the center of Henri, and this band of storms, especially there on that northwest side of the center. We've got the eye wall area that's, or at least it's trying to form an eye wall, not very well defined at this moment, but that outer band, especially with that shield of rain, is only about 70 miles away from Long Island, less than that for Block Island, and only about 50 miles or less from Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. So this is quickly going to be pushing in probably in the next couple of hours, and that's what we're going to see, those tropical storm force winds. But then look at what's happened here over New York City, but especially now into New Jersey. Very concerning bands of rain right around Atlantic City and just to your north, central parts of the Jersey Shore. Wow, we've got a stalled out downpour, and it is not moving at all. In fact, it's only being enhanced. Now, these are some of the outer bands all associated with Henri. It's a little bit asymmetrical than what you're typically used to when it comes to tropical systems, but this is what has caused serious flooding here in New York City. It looks like the worst of the rain now is pushed off towards your west, towards Staten Island, and then working in towards Springfield and Edison, New Jersey. Considerable threat, though. We've seen some serious issues there in Manhattan. There's a look at the timing. Those outer bands getting in before sunrise, and then the worst of the storm of Hurricane Henri moving into eastern Long Island and southern New England by late morning and early afternoon. Now, storm surge and tropical storm warnings are up for parts of Connecticut. The other big threat we are watching, the possibility for major flash flooding. Meteorologist Chris Warren has more from Bridgeport, Connecticut.
When the sun comes up, it's going to be a much different scene here in Bridgeport. We're at a marina right now where there are extra boats, and a lot of sailboats that are usually in the harbor are lined up along the trees just across the way in a much safer place here in this cove. And throughout the dark hours here, we've been watching an almost full moon. It'll be full during the day as the storm, hurricane or tropical storm, makes landfall in the northeast. We've been watching the clouds.
A flash flood warning has been issued for our area.
And while has been a pleasant evening and an early morning, we're now dealing with some fast changing conditions. Again, when the sun comes up, it'll be raining. There's going to be wind, and I think by the middle of the day, it's going to go from a breezy kind of a day to a windy day and a wet day across much of Connecticut. So what remains to be seen? Coastal areas, are you going to have all of it? Are you going to have the wind, the surge, the rough surf, and then the rain? And also there's a chance we could have severe weather as well. So that's on the table. And then inland, throughout the entire state of Connecticut, flooding is not either possible, it's either possible or it is likely to happen. That's the kind of rain that we're expecting out of this tropical system. So as we watch the hour play out, the next hour play out, a lot can happen. And of course, we're going to be here. We've got you covered, keeping track of the changing conditions.
Yeah, speaking of changing conditions, boy, how things went downhill fast here in and around New York City on Saturday evening. Boy, raining and raining hard, and more rain starting to come in now south of the 5 boroughs down into parts of Jersey. Visibility at times with the rain down to ice, can't see a thing. So my advice is right now, if you're watching us this morning, maybe Sunday's a day to just stay put, all right? Because we've got rain that's going to continue to come down heavily as we watch Henri make its approach toward the New England coast. So a lot of it, and some of these outer bands that Chris had said that's starting to come in is going to be on the west side this time. I think with Fred, a lot of the heavy rain was on the east side. So this goes to the point of every tropical system kind of has its own unique characteristics. This one will bring the heavy rain in the mid-lower Hudson Valley and up near Albany and through Vermont and western parts of Massachusetts and Connecticut. At least the forecast is for the heaviest rain. And this is an area, too, that GFS has some of the heavier rainfall. So you get the picture. West of where the center is, more heavy rainfall, flooding rain in some cases. This is going to be a big problem. Ground saturated, soil moisture is high here through.
A flash flood warning has been issued for our area.
The center again, potentially going in this direction, effects felt away from the center. That's why we always emphasize don't necessarily focus just on the center of these storms, because at many times, and this is a perfect example, well away from the center, we are starting to feel impacts. Likely flash flooding, southern central New York State, south of Albany anyway. So this is the best chance, an opportunity for flooding. Some of it has already occurred here. There will be more as more heavy rain continues to push in. Chris?
I want to take you to Provincetown, Massachusetts. While we may not have the landfall, we will have direct impacts. Likely going to deal with some storm surge too. Remember, we're on the east side of the Cape, and those east winds are already starting to be felt. We're already seeing some water rise. We want to talk about storm surge because these are very vulnerable areas. We know how vulnerable areas like the Boston Harbor can be. Areas from Buzzards Bay and some of these waterways around Cape Cod, very vulnerable to surge. Also there at the Long Island Sound where we've got storm surge warnings. That's what that dark pink indicates. Now, not everybody in that pink area will get storm surge. It's really going to be dependent upon your exact location, the direction the winds are coming from, and your high tides. Those are going to be crucial because if it comes in at low tide, you get the strongest winds that may help you out, and those totals end up being lower than expected. But we are looking at some areas here from Long Island Sound through southern Connecticut, Narragansett Bay, in some of those waterways around Newport, Rhode Island, also here around Buzzards Bay, and getting into Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket. We're talking about 3 to 5 feet of storm surge. The Cape, 2 to 4 feet, and even up towards eastern Massachusetts, we can see 1 to 3 feet water rise also there too on the Jersey shore because of that onshore wind. Here in the mid-Atlantic, we've got an offshore wind, so we're actually faring fairly well right now. No water rises currently. Farther north, things have improved a little bit, but notice our winds are coming out of the east, especially as this area of winds works its way north. We're going to notice those winds, those water levels starting to rise. And I'm really concerned areas, say, around Long Island Sound.
A flash flood warning has been issued for our area.
Almost concave area of water that eventually flows into the East River. So those are going to be spots that will be very vulnerable. Take a look at the winds, and you can see the direction the winds are coming from. A lot of that onshore push here, especially through eastern Massachusetts and there into Long Island Sound. Strongest winds getting in, say, mid-morning here from Montauk to eastern Long Island. Nantucket, we can see 40-mile-per-hour gusts, tropical storm force. Some of those tropical storm winds getting into Providence and also there into New London, Connecticut by the time we get into the mid-afternoon, and then a quickly moving storm. Thankfully, Ray, this is a quick moving storm. However, as it pushes inland, it does stall out for a little bit before it gets carried back off towards the northeast.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. And there will be places that will have some fairly substantial impacts from Henri, and some areas will see heavy rainfall and strong winds, and others like Boston will see, I would say, lighter winds, but still maybe gusting to tropical storm force. Here's your timing for Boston. Sunday through early Monday, 25-mile-per-hour plus wind gusts, 30-plus Sunday evening. So later Sunday into Sunday evening, that's when you may have your strongest winds. And now, less than an inch of rainfall expected, but to the west, there will be more. So some of the western suburbs and into central Mass and points west of that, heavier rain and flooding rain. New York City, 25-mile-per-hour plus wind gusts on Sunday, especially with some of those bands that start to move in. 35-plus mile-per-hour gusts Sunday afternoon. and those will probably come once again in some of that banding that comes through, and 1 to 2 inches of rain yet to come. Now, say on average, I mean, this is what we have to do, because I visualize these bands coming in, and you might have, 1 to 2 inches between bands, but then have locally higher totals, plus 3 or 4. And just like we'd seen with that flooding rain that's already come through New York City, 3 to 4 inches further north and northeast out into Greenwich, Connecticut, and down through southeastern New York State as you go up the Hudson Valley. On the
A flash flood warning has been issued for our area.
Rain there. Nantucket, worst midday Sunday through the afternoon. Tropical storm force wind gusts are possible, with locally some rain in excess of 1 inch or 2. Chris.
All right, we're going to talk about some of the inland impacts as we head into later tomorrow and then into early on Monday. Places here in the Capital District, Hartford, also into Albany, we're going to be dealing with wet weather and quite a bit of rain. You can see here in central Connecticut, at least 3 to 5 inches is expected, but we could see much more than that. The worst of the winds likely to get in late tomorrow afternoon into early tomorrow evening. There's the heaviest rainfall, 3 to 5 inches, perhaps a bit more, especially here from central Connecticut towards the New York State line. And timing out these winds, again, by the morning, we could be seeing strong tropical storm force winds just 4 hours from now.
A flash flood warning has been issued for our area.
Also getting into Narragansett Bay, Long Island Sound, southern Connecticut getting in on those stronger winds too as we get into the mid-morning hours.
It took a while to get up here.
A flash flood warning has been issued for our area.
A few million miles later, and voila. But we didn't do all that just to get here. We did it to give you a truck that'll take you anywhere. This is the new Nissan.
Ugh, is there a natural litter that actually works?
At Tidy Cats, litterventions come naturally. Naturally strong unscented with activated charcoal or scented clean lemongrass with plant extracts. 100% natural, 100% powerful. There's a Tidy Cats for that.
With thyroid eye disease, I was always wearing sunglasses to hide my bulging eyes. I wore them just about everywhere. But then my doctor recommended Tepezza, a prescription medicine for thyroid eye disease, and I didn't have to hide so much.
In a clinical study, more than 8 out of 10 patients taking Tepezza had less eye bulging.
A flash flood warning has been issued for our area.
Tepezza is an infused medicine. Patients taking Tepezza may experience infusion reactions. Tell your doctor right away if you have symptoms such as high blood pressure, fast heartbeat, shortness of breath, or muscle pain. Before receiving Tepezza, tell your doctor if you have diabetes, inflammatory bowel disease, or IBD, or are pregnant or planning to become pregnant. Tepezza may raise your blood sugar even if you do not have diabetes and may worsen IBD such as Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis.
I look more like my old self again. Now I wear sunglasses because I want to.
Ask your doctor if Tepezza is right for you and visit mytepezza.com to see Jeannie's before and after photos.
Allergies with nasal congestion overwhelming you? Breathe more freely with powerful Claritin D. Claritin D improves nasal airflow 2 times more than the leading allergy spray at hour 1. Claritin D. Get more airflow.
I love my babysitter. She laughs when I burp. We got her from care.com.
Go to care.com for great babysitters and nannies with profiles, reviews, and more. It costs less than you think, and we even make it easy to pay. Care.com.
Hey, King Midas, people should know we can service their whole car.
Yes. Tires, brakes, oil, everything. Everything. We must tell the people.
Right now at Midas, buy 3 Cooper tires and get 1 free. Find your tires now at Midas.com.
If you have a typical airline credit card, you're not getting double miles on every purchase.
You're right. I only get extra miles on some types of purchases.
May I?
Please.
With the Capital One Venture Card, you earn unlimited double miles everywhere. Yes.
Everywhere is great, but where can we use them?
You can use them on any travel purchase, not just some travel purchases.
Venture gets a gold star.
What's in your wallet?
USAA is made for the safe pilots, like Matt, who can come to a stop with barely a bobble. With USAA Safe Pilot, when you drive safe, you can save up to 30% on your auto insurance. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for. Get a quote today.
It's a fact. No other news network out there is trusted more than the Weather Channel. And America doesn't trust hurricane season to just anyone.
If there's pain when you try to poo, when going sometimes feels like you push through a pineapple or two, Colace is the brand you need to soften stools, we're all agreed. Number 2 should be easy to do.
Trust Colace to soften stools with no stimulants for comfortable relief.
Whether it's a last-second bake sale, Taco Tuesday, or a meal for your future in-laws, it's gonna be great. With McCormick by your side for over 130 years, it's gonna be great.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees with light rain. Overnight, cloudy with a few showers. Low 74. Chance of rain 30%. Sunday, rain and thunder. High 77. Rainfall possibly over 1 inch. Sunday night, thunderstorms. Low 73. Chance of rain 70%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
When it comes to covering the most important issue facing us and our Earth, one day does make all the difference. Now, the Weather Channel and its innovative climate team at Pattern are connecting you every day to the most fascinating stories impacting our planet. For what's now and what's next, rely on the climate experts with the most trusted name in TV news. If it's out there, it's in here. The Weather Channel.
Catastrophic situation here in Middle Tennessee. I mean, check this out. Waverly, Tennessee on Saturday, a significant and record-breaking, maybe a state record amount of rainfall. 10 dead, dozens still missing. Dozens still missing as of last check. 31 people officially, and 10 officially dead, 2 of them toddlers. Just an unbelievable amount of rainfall. And the Texas Emergency Management Agency has activated a level 3 state of emergency as a result of this. Humphreys County is west of Nashville. That's where this occurred, along the Tennessee River. And this is one of those events that you can't forecast it. And the flash flooding just came on as such a surprise here in central Tennessee yesterday afternoon. Look at that. Just a tremendous amount of rain and nowhere for the water to go and no time to escape. Just an amazing amount of rainfall. Look at this, just west of Davidson County here where Nashville resides. That is where the estimates were 12 to up to 18 inches, and we've got unconfirmed, it might be confirmed now, of almost 17 inches of rain in one of the rain gauges. Unfortunately, fatalities with this, and luckily the rain has lessened, at least for now. Chris?
Well, in the Northeast, Hurricane Henri is closing in. We're just mere hours away from some of those tropical storm force gusts getting into Long Island and parts of southern New England. You're looking live at Providence, Rhode Island, where it's a pretty calm night tonight. Some high clouds streaming in. No rain as of yet. Martha's Vineyard, though, we've got some showers coming in. And the core of some of those stronger winds and rains are only 50 miles or less away. So they are going to be approaching us very quickly here. Expect power outages, especially as that band gets in. The region is expecting violent winds, and this will definitely uproot trees, especially with how wet New England has been this summer. Man, the ground is saturated. Power outages not only likely, but widespread here through Rhode Island, parts of Connecticut, and into Long Island, especially central eastern Long Island. Let's talk about the winds. Right now, fairly calm. We've got some gusts approaching, some 30-mile-per-hour winds just offshore. Those will be moving in within the next hour or so. But you can see how things evolve heading into sunrise. Early on Sunday morning, 5 a.m., we could be dealing with tropical storm force winds here in Montauk and areas across eastern Long Island. Southern Connecticut getting into those 30 maybe 35-mile-per-hour gusts. Boston still fairly light as we head into the morning hours, but that all changes as we work our way through the latter half of the morning into lunchtime. Look at Montauk. We've been seeing hurricane-force gusts. Similar story there around Narragansett, where we could have a landfall somewhere, say, eastern Connecticut, eastern Long Island, or Rhode Island. I think that's fair game for where the worst of the winds will be. As this pushes inland, it will rapidly lose strength and will weaken very quickly. It's an evolving situation. It's going to start changing characteristics from a tropical storm, hurricane, into something extra tropical as it works its way into New England. But either way, we're going to be dealing with a huge shield of rain and an expanding wind field. Even though the overall wind speeds will decrease, we still got several areas that will report 30 to 40 mile per hour winds. That even getting into southern Vermont and New Hampshire as we head into late Sunday night into early Monday. You can see how things, how chances are likely that we will have tropical storm force winds, and a chance we can see hurricane forced gusts, especially there in Rhode Island, Long Island, and southern New England. Ray.
And Hurricane Henri is also stirring up dangerous waves, powerful rip currents in North Carolina on Friday. Emergency crews conducted 50 rescues alone after swimmers were swept out to sea. Let's take a look now at where we are most concerned. So this is one of those direct impacts that you may not think of a lot of times. I mean, some of the rip current statements were out from Henri during the week as far south as South Florida, as some of the swells continue to propagate out from the center. Right now, maximum wave heights are reports coming in at 21 feet out over the open waters in the Atlantic around the center. And now starting to see some of that wave action move toward the coast. So we're going to have that pounding of the water up against the coastline, chewing away at the sand. Even if you're not close to the center, you're still having rip current risks, as we saw there in North Carolina, along with those big breakers and coastal beach erosion here. So the wave heights approaching here, maybe Virginia Beach and the beaches of Delaware and Maryland, could be up to about 5 feet. So this will be an event, too, that if it is, at least weather-wise, down to the previously mentioned beaches in the mid-Atlantic, okay to get out into the water, heads up, there'll be a dangerous rip current risk here. And then as we go through the morning hours, we'll see some of those higher swells and those bigger waves head toward Martha's Vineyard, Newport, and Nantucket. As you can see, this was the core of those 20-foot plus breakers, and they're heading toward Martha's Vineyard here by 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock on Sunday morning. So some big waves heading in. That's going to enhance some of that coastal flooding and surge here, especially across eastern New England as we head on through today. As we said, the rip current risk all the way down toward the central beaches of Florida on the East Coast. Moderate rip current risk a little further in here. See a little break there kind of because of the westerly location of the beaches of South Carolina and Georgia. But up the coast, high rip current risk, certainly a day where you want to take caution in the water. And here's a reminder of your hazard flags. Pay attention not only to the lifeguards, but double red flag means beaches are closed. If you get a green, which it may take some time to get to, that means the all clear. We're not giving that in the Northeast anytime soon.
Visible is wireless that gets better with friends. Pay as low as $25 a month, or bring a friend, and you both get a month for $5. So the more people you roll with, the more you save. Visible. Unlimited data as low as $25 a month, or bring a friend and you both get a month for $5.
A guy like this, who relies on his truck for work, knows that his truck will take care of him, that he takes care of his truck. And WeatherTech has always been the ultimate protection. From floor liners to no-drill mud flaps to TechLiner for your truck bed to bump step to the handy under-seat storage system. And Cup Phone keeps phones secure in any cup holder. Order your American-made products at WeatherTech.com.
It's the biggest sale of the year on the new Sleep Number 360 smart bed. It's the most comfortable, dually adjustable, foot warming, temperature balancing, proven quality night's sleep we've ever made. Save 50% on the new Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed, plus free premium delivery. Ends Monday.
Ugh, is there a natural litter that actually works?
At Tidy Cats, litterventions come naturally. Naturally strong unscented with activated charcoal or scented clean lemongrass with plant extracts. 100% natural, 100% powerful. There's a Tidy Cats for that.
When you're shopping for a new vehicle, how do you know which brand you can trust? With Subaru, you get Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand winner 7 years in a row. In fact, Subaru has won most trusted brand for more consecutive years than any other brand. No wonder Kelley Blue Book also picked Subaru as their best overall brand, once again.
It's easy to love a brand you can trust. It's easy to love a Subaru.
Making pizza with someone who's as into it as me? What could be better?
Looking for someone to do something fun with? It's simple. Open laptop, go to OurTime.com, start for free. It's easy to find them on Our Time, the #1 dating site for people over 50.
Ricky Bobby, today the road is your classroom. Now, let's go borrow a boat and make some bad decisions. Time to go incognito.
I love you, Ricky! I love you, Kyle! What's the next stop?
It's time for your extracurriculars. Vámonos, amigos!
Hey, King Midas, people should know we can service their whole car.
Yes.
Tires, brakes, oil, everything. Everything. We must tell the people.
Right now at Midas, buy 3 Cooper tires and get 1 free. Find your tires now at Midas.com.
Kids can change minds. They can even change the world around us. Packed with protein plus 21 vitamins and minerals, we nourish them with Carnation Breakfast Essentials. Because today could change everything.
It's a fact. No other news network out there is trusted more than the Weather Channel.
This is epic!
Trusted to be there where and when you need us. Trusted to work around the clock until every threat is over.
We're in this for the long haul.
Because America doesn't trust hurricane season to just anyone.
A new video coming in. This is flooding now out across Brooklyn. Look at this. Oh, boy, there's damage here. Boy, water gets everywhere. Flash flood emergency in place right now, but New York City out of the flash flood warnings, but more rain is on the way, so please prepare.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, hard to tell if they're, I don't know, it looks like some sort of office. I don't know if those are electrical things on the left, some sort of utility box. It's hard to tell, but water and electricity, never a good combination.
No, they're not. And certainly an opportunity for more rain coming in as the city that never sleeps on alert as Henri bears down on the northeast and New England. Flooding rain already slamming New York City. Beginning to see the rain lessen a bit there, but it's moving south into parts of Jersey. A core off to the east is going to be hitting Long Island here and neighboring communities.
All sorts of warnings extend from down east Maine even into Cape Hatteras as the storm swells the eastern seaboard, dumping heavy amounts of rain and likely to knock out power to millions. Want to get you caught up late tonight on what we know about Henri at this hour. Power crews from across the country are arriving in the Northeast to help with power restoration efforts in the coming days, including these trucks from Canada. Eversource Energy estimates between 50 to 69% of its customers could lose power in Connecticut, and restoration efforts could last between 8 and 21 days. Storm shelters have opened in Connecticut, but evacuees must come prepared with masks to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And President Biden will provide an update on the federal response to Hurricane Henri at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday.
And by that time, Chris, probably going to be looking at a storm that's onshore and weakening, hopefully, right? We want to see weakening here as Henri currently stays at a 75 mile per hour minimal Category 1 hurricane. And it's moving north still at 21 miles per hour. A little concerning there. This thing may show up in your doorstep a little bit quicker if that continues. Pressure currently at 987 millibars. The center is located 135 miles southeast of Montauk Point on the eastern end of Long Island in Suffolk County. So next advisory coming from the Hurricane Center at 5 a.m. At that point, we may see adjustments to the advisories and the watches and also the cone. We may see adjustments to maybe even the timing of when the center arrives. But right now, it does look a little bit more symmetrical around the center, but concerning now, some of this rain's gotten ripped off and getting pulled into now central Jersey, where there's significant flash flooding. For now, these alerts stay in place. Tropical storm warnings in red and purple, hurricane warnings, meaning conditions for either tropical storm and or hurricane expected here within 12 hours now. I think we're in that time frame. Usually they're issued at about 36 hours out. So we're getting there, but right now with the center passing somewhere in this direction or somewhere in this area east of Block Island, the best opportunity to be right around the core for hurricane force winds of Henri. The tropical storm force winds extend extending out about 110 plus miles per hour from the center. All right, here's a track right down the center of this cone. At least that's the current forecast. Forecast to come on shore as a strong tropical storm and or a weak Category 1 hurricane. The difference of the impacts will be minimal, if any. And then as it moves on shore, it slows down a bit because we still may be talking about a low pressure system, remnants, or post-tropical storm, even as we get into Monday. Chris.
All right, let's talk about the activity we're dealing with right now. Look at New Jersey, by the way. I mean, we've got numerous flash flood warnings now that have popped up and are continuing to extend. New York City, not officially under a warning anymore, and the rain has exited. So hopefully we can let everything kind of drain out before Henri pushes on shore officially tomorrow and brings us a whole bunch more rainfall. Right now, the worst of the weather well off now to the west. Very heavy rain pushing into Edison. The difference is, while it is extremely heavy rain, probably on the order of 1 to 2 inches per hour, it's actually moving now and not staying stuck over the same area. Still a lot of rain and very saturated grounds. The one concern is central New Jersey here on the Jersey Shore. There's Atlantic City just along the coast, including Stafford. This is for Burlington and Ocean counties. You are under a flash flood warning. This goes all the way until 7 a.m. in the morning, and more concerning rainfall. When we look at some of these radar estimations, again, we're approaching that 4, 5, even 6-inch rainfall in the last few hours. So very serious, and there's still a lot of heavy rain still ongoing. All right, so there's the core. Look at how close some of these bands are getting to Long Island, and also here around Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. Winds are starting to creep up. Look at this buoy here, just offshore of Nantucket, gusting now to 34 miles per hour. Nantucket actually gusting to 22 miles per hour. So we're starting to get those easterly winds when most of the day and even most of the night, it's been relatively calm, like you still have in Hartford, also there in Providence. Winds are going to be ticking upwards here very quickly in Montauk over the next couple of hours. And you can see how the core of this is likely to move north. Remember, these outer bands are going to start bringing in tropical storm force gusts. So in the next couple of hours, conditions will deteriorate here very quickly from Long Island through southern New England. So stay right here to the Weather Channel for the latest updates.
Now Dish has dedicated teams monitoring your signal 24/7.
In the late summer months, when salmon are plentiful.
Because we know you need dependable TV.
25 fish per day.
24/7. TV you can depend on 24/7. Dish. Tuned in to you.
I thought I had my shot at college, and then I did learn about the program with Coursera. I had another chance.
With a bachelor's degree, you can increase your weekly earnings by around 67%. On Coursera, you can earn career-advancing bachelor's degrees online from world-class universities for an affordable price.
Learning on Coursera makes me feel empowered.
I was very surprised at how affordable the program was.
Courses, professional certificates, bachelor's and master's degrees. Join for free at Coursera.org. Coursera. Learn without limits.
Return to rugged, the all-new ruggedly redesigned 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
I got a good feeling. Feel it in my bones, gotta shake it out. I'm going harder than before, let me hear you shout. Oh no, I'm the talk of the town. I know you're feeling it now.
Transitions, light under control.
Kids can change minds. They can even change the world around us. Packed with protein plus 21 vitamins and minerals, we nourish them with Carnation Breakfast Essentials. Because today could change everything.
This is the gap that opened up when everything shut down. But entrepreneurs never stopped and found solutions that kept them going. At US Bank, we can help you adapt and evolve your business, no matter what you're facing. Because when you close the gap, a world of possibility opens. US Bank. We'll get there together.
Here's my new dress. What's that? Oh, Damp Rid.
Damp Rid? Damp Rid. It gets rid of musty odors.
How? Well, Damp Rid attracts and traps excess moisture,
eliminating the source of musty odors.
Mustiness, gone. Damp Rid.
At Napa, we keep things moving. If it has wheels and an engine, we help keep it on the road. And if it's on the road, we have parts for it. And if you need a part, you can get it fast. At Napa, when we're not thinking about cars, we're thinking about the people who drive them. Because when it comes to serving you and our community, our motor never quits.
This is not just coastal communities that are impacted, but an entire state. Storms of this magnitude can extend from the coast out several hundred miles, so we all really need to heed the warnings and prepare.
All right, this is an unusual storm to be impacting this part of the country, especially with the direction it's coming in as. Usually when we get our tropical storms and tropical events, even hurricanes, oftentimes they ride up the eastern seaboard. This is coming in from a totally different angle and is going to have different impacts than what you may remember. And it's also been a while since we've dealt with a hurricane in New England and across parts of New York. So certainly something that many folks here are new to the area or don't remember the last time they were impacted. And things have changed since then too, so be mindful of that. Let's talk about rainfall. We know flooding is likely going to be one of the biggest issues we're going to be seeing, along with the surge and the winds near the coast. So those are going to be our biggest factors. Here's the European, and I'm going to shade in where it's predicting that the heaviest rain may fall. Notice it's likely going to be to the west of where the center comes ashore. I'll draw a dashed line on where we think the center may come, somewhere in that vicinity. But well to the west of that is where you're going to have the bulk of the rainfall. Now, take a look at the GFS. And again, kind of similar in placement. Now, it's not exactly the same. The GFS actually didn't have as much rain. However, we've already seen over 6 inches of rain in New York City. Models didn't pick up on that. They're not perfect, right? But we do know that there are going to be areas here that will likely see over 6 more inches, perhaps even more than that. And that's in addition to what we have already seen in parts of New Jersey and New York City tonight. Flash flooding going to be a big issue because it's been so wet this summer. In fact, Boston into the top 20 wettest summers already. And this is really going to increase that ranking all the more. We've had a lot of rain here through upstate New York and across central Pennsylvania. And remember the remnants of Fred? It caused some significant flooding just a couple of days ago in Connecticut and Massachusetts. And now we're bringing in some of the worst of Henri into some of these same locations. So that's why we think flash flooding is going to be a big factor here, likely. We've already had some serious flash flooding into Brooklyn, water inundating basements, getting into some buildings, subway stations being flooded, roads closed, tunnels, bridges, all being impacted here. And now we're seeing that flooding into parts of New Jersey. I would even expand that a little bit farther south, especially given where the radar is showing the rain tonight. Some big-time issues. And while severe weather, not a huge ordeal with Henri, it's not off the table either. Ray, we will have that risk for an isolated twister. They would be very brief, but they could cause some damage here, especially over parts of Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut.
All right, Chris. Yeah, the models are not perfect. Probably the greatest line I've heard all night. How many times have I said that? All right, another threat we've got is a coastal concern, and this is going to be water not coming from the sky, but from the Atlantic Ocean as storm surge warnings and storm surge watches are out here. Most of Suffolk County and in through New England, coastal Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. This is where we're expecting the highest water rise. Now, if there are adjustments to these warnings, and there may be that we've done with the 5 a.m. advisory coming from the Hurricane Center, because from where we were 24 hours ago, where the center may have passed here, and the strongest surge or the greatest water rise may be in eastern Long Island. Now the Hurricane Center has the center passing just east of Block Island. So that may change things up a little bit, but still some water rise here. That's why the storm surge warnings are in place. It's more likely there, storm surge watch further back toward the west for potentially a 3 to 5 foot water rise above dry ground. Now, if that does materialize, there's going to be things underwater along the shoreline, especially and just inland, and probably closer to the center is where that greatest water rise will be. Because if you picture a hurricane heading in this direction and the winds coming in like this, they'll be pushing the water up and into the coastline. Whereas on the backside, you may see north onshore flooding here in Long Island Sound. So hopefully preparations are in place here for this event. A little bit less now away from the center in terms of onshore flow and thus a storm surge. Around the Jersey Shore down near Cape May, a zero water rise right now because the winds are going this way and pushing the water back out into the Atlantic. So that's certainly good news there. About a 0.2-foot water rise currently at Nantucket Island, but you can start to see some of those stronger winds in the direction that they're coming in. So these are the areas where we may see some of the greatest surge here, where we're starting to see that onshore flow continue to push north now as we watch Henri make its approach.
All right, we want to switch gears and update you on the situation unfolding here in Tennessee. A breaking tragedy in the middle part of the state. This is the scene of devastation just to the west of Nashville in Humphreys County. Flash flooding has killed at least 10 people, with 31 people still unaccounted for. They're missing. Over 15 inches of rain fell in under 24 hours, likely smashing the previous 24-hour record for the state of Tennessee. Now, not confirmed yet. But man, we likely beat the 24-hour state rainfall record here in the state. And look at the extreme amount of flooding here. That water, I mean, that's a TV. I mean, that's a water tank. These things are all brought up by the force of the flash flood. I want to show you briefly what that looked like, where the radar is right now. Things are improving over Tennessee. That wasn't the case, though, many hours ago. On Saturday, we had that bulk of rain come through Kentucky and especially there in Tennessee, and it just combined and made for extremely heavy rainfall in a very short period of time. But look at the expanse of that rain over the last 24 hours. Many areas getting in on close to 6 inches of rain. Along I-40, those pinks, those are indicative of double-digit rainfall totals, over a foot of rain. And remember, a lot of that fell in a quick time span. That's why the flooding was so significant. And again, some gauges measuring over 16 inches of rain. While we may have some light showers, the heavy rain is done here for Tennessee. Likely going to have some fog in the morning and low clouds. That should break away, improving conditions here for recovery efforts as they try to account for those 31 people still missing. The storms will be back for us here over the Carolina coast, Georgia, and Florida. Of course, we're going to have more with Hurricane Henri next when we return here on the Weather Channel.
Kids can change minds. They can even change the world around us. Packed with protein plus 21 vitamins and minerals, we nourish them with Carnation Breakfast Essentials. Because today could change everything.
You probably think Visa is a credit card company, huh? But it's actually a network. Connecting just about everyone to just about everyone else. It can open eyes with a cup of coffee and change minds about what makes a business a business. And it is working to connect everyone, everywhere. So, meet Visa, a network working for everyone.
If Mark, Mr. Cartoon Machado, didn't have the fighting spirit to draw out his passion, he never would have turned chrome into a canvas. If he let a lack of tools stop him, he never would have started tattooing using a homemade machine. And if he listened to those who said you need an art degree, he never would have perfected the street look that made him a street legend. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes a lion. Modelo, root for those with a fighting spirit.
Return to rugged, the all-new ruggedly redesigned 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
We've got you taken care of, Sergeant Houston.
Thank you. That was fast.
One call to USAA got her a tow, her claim paid, and even her grandpa's dog tags back. Get a quote.
Real people are finding real savings with Spectrum Mobile.
I switched because we wanted great service for less money.
With Spectrum Mobile, I'm saving over $650 a year.
We've actually saved $612 in half a year.
Use the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator to find out how much you could save. Then get our unlimited data plan for $45 a line or our by the gig plan for $14 a gig. Call 844-230-8821.
Well, the idea that we can mix and match plans is great. This way we can adjust the plan to what our needs are at the moment.
These guys are unlimited, I'm by the gig, and I've got more money in my wallet.
Get the flexibility you want with the savings you need, all with free nationwide talk and text and no contracts. Call 844-230-8821.
We're paying a lot less and getting a whole lot more.
I'm wondering why I didn't switch to Spectrum Mobile a lot sooner than what I actually did.
Get Spectrum Mobile with our unlimited data plan for $45 a line or our Buy the Gig plan for $14 a gig. Visit a Spectrum store, go to spectrummobile.com, or call 844-230-8821.
And its innovative climate team at Pattern are connecting you every day to the most fascinating stories impacting our planet. Rely on the climate experts with the most trusted name in TV news. If it's out there, it's in here, the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under cloudy skies. Overnight, cloudy with a few showers. Low 74. Chance of rain 30%. Sunday, rain and thunder. High 77. Rainfall possibly over 1 inch. Sunday night, thunderstorms. Low 73. Chance of rain 70%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
All right, we're back tracking Hurricane Henri. Latest update as of 2 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Still a 75-mile-per-hour hurricane. That's a Category 1. Pressure has dropped slightly, 987 millibars, moving north at a very fast clip. Look at how close some of these bands are now getting to Long Island, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, and parts of coastal New England. You can see where hurricane warnings have been posted. This includes a lot of southern Connecticut, also southern Rhode Island, Newport, Narragansett, that includes you, and then central and eastern Long Island. There's a look at the track. Again, moving to the north, the track of the storm has shifted slightly back towards the east. So while we still may get a landfall in Long Island, we're looking more at eastern Connecticut, Rhode Island seems to be more likely. Still can't rule out Massachusetts either, and we are expecting widespread power outages. Remember how much tree canopy we have in states like Connecticut. So large trees coming down, even in 40-mile-per-hour gusts, is a huge issue, and we're going to have much stronger winds than that. Storm surge is something, too, we've got to watch for very closely. And this is a unique storm, and the fact it's coming in at a completely different direction than what we're typically used to. Sometimes, like if you remember last year, we had Isaias. That came up the I-95 corridor, essentially, up the whole eastern seaboard from the south and west. This is coming in from the south and east, moving up towards the north. So it's going to have different impacts than what you may be familiar with. And when you look at the rainfall, we know rain is going to be a big issue. It already has caused some big flooding in New York City and New Jersey. And now we're expecting several more inches. You can see both models, while not identical, they are pinpointing several of the same areas from Connecticut through western Massachusetts, even into eastern New York, south of Albany, the Hudson River Valley in play for some significant rainfall and flash flooding. All right, let's get a look at some of the coastal city timings. We'll start in some of the large cities and work our way towards the coast. Boston, I think the worst is not going to impact us. So I think that's safe to say. However, we will see impacts. We're going to have some coastal flooding. We know how low-lying the Boston Harbor is. Logan oftentimes deals with flooding with rain, and you bring in that east wind, which we are going to see here for a persistent amount of time. Even with just 30-mile-per-hour gusts, we may have water level rise that causes coastal flooding here in the metro area. So be mindful of that. Overall totals, though, because we're likely to be on the east side of the storm, we're going to be spared from some of the heaviest of the rain, which is good news because it's been wet in this part of the world. Here are the timing of the winds. Southwest side of the metro area likely going to see the strongest winds, and that will happen likely later tomorrow afternoon, a little after lunchtime. Franklin along the 495, we could be seeing those 40-mile-per-hour gusts. Tropical storm force winds getting into Worcester Worcester, and also into south central Massachusetts, also into Springfield, where we could have 50-mile-per-hour gusts. Boston proper, we're looking at anywhere from 20 to 35-mile-per-hour winds, maybe slightly stronger if the storm were to shift a little bit further east, and that's still a possibility. But generally speaking, we're looking at winds likely less than 40 miles per hour. New York City, winds likely going to be on the order of 30 to 40 miles per hour. That will happen late morning into the afternoon. Rainfall, I think this is underdone. We are going to be on the west side. Already have had reports of between 4 and 7 inches of rain, and that was before the shield starts to push in. So 2 to 3 inches, I think, is underdone. We could see a lot more than that, and that will only enhance our flood potential. Let's take you to Long Island. This is where we may be close to the eye wall or the center of the storm, especially here in Montauk. Already going to be seeing those tropical storm force winds in probably an hour to 2 hours, and they will be with us all morning. Hurricane force gusts perhaps as we get into lunchtime or maybe even a little bit before, and rainfall will be anywhere from 3 to 5 inches. Nantucket, we're far enough east, Ray, where some of the worst of the winds may stay to our west, but still, because we're so exposed, we stick out like a sore thumb here. We're going to have high winds on the coast, upwards of 40 miles per hour, likely through mid-morning, mid-afternoon. Rainfall anywhere from 1 to 2 inches.
And if we move inland, Chris, there will be impacts inland, and some of those impacts may be fairly significant for some, especially with the rain coming in. Hartford, it's one spot you may get some 50-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts during the day, especially later Sunday into Sunday night. Tropical storm force in the afternoon or the early morning hours. Rain to come about 3 to 5 inches, so that's the current forecast. Once again, so Sunday's basically the day, just hunker down and keep it at home. Here's your rain totals in central Connecticut, 3 to 4 inches. I was always add to this locally higher totals, and if some of those bands come in, and those heavier bands, which may come in like in round, you may see some of that enhanced precipitation where right down the road you get 6 or 7 inches, somebody else might get 2 or 3. So be prepared for flash flooding, as Chris had mentioned, off toward the east, where on the east side of the low or the hurricane or tropical storm, we may actually see a little bit less in terms of precipitation. Here's your winds this morning, getting now in Montauk by 6 a.m., 40 to 50 miles per hour. So tropical storm force winds by 6 to 7 a.m. Now we're approaching potentially hurricane force by mid-morning as the center makes its approach here toward Block Island and then comes on shore sometime midday, maybe into the afternoon, somewhere around coastal New England. We'll have to watch that closely. And this is when the winds really start to pick up late morning into the afternoon into the interior of New England. So we're going to have to be on the lookout here for some of those stronger winds, even quite breezy to windy, even on through the daytime hours on Monday. Up near Albany, the Capital District, Schenectady, Troy, 1 to 2 inches of rain, but again, locally higher totals, especially down into the Catskills and some of the hills in western Mass. Well, we'll continue to bring you every angle of this storm as it makes its approach toward land with our team of meteorologists that are spread out across the Northeast and New England.
Return to rugged, the all-new ruggedly redesigned 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
Meet the 4-year-old who refused to wear pants this morning.
Why, Andy? I'm a dinosaur.
Won't wear pants. We'll eat Eggo waffles.
Get your wins where you can when you Lego with Eggo.
Ugh, is there a natural litter that actually works?
At Tidy Cats, litterventions come naturally. Naturally strong unscented with activated charcoal or scented clean lemongrass with plant extracts. 100% natural, 100% powerful. There's a Tidy Cats for that.
If you have a typical airline credit card, you're not getting double miles on every purchase.
You're right. I only get extra miles on some types of purchases.
May I?
Please.
With the Capital One Venture Card, you earn unlimited double miles everywhere. Yes.
Everywhere is great, but where can we use them?
You can use them on any travel purchase, not just some travel purchases.
Venture gets a gold star.
What's in your wallet?
With thyroid eye disease, I was always wearing sunglasses to hide my bulging eyes. I wore them just about everywhere. But then my doctor recommended Tepezza, a prescription medicine for thyroid eye disease, and I didn't have to hide so much.
In a clinical study, more than 8 out of 10 patients taking Tepezza had less eye bulging, and nearly 7 out of 10 saw improvements in double vision. Tepezza is an infused medicine. Patients taking Tepezza may experience infusion reactions. Tell your doctor right away if you have symptoms such as high blood pressure, fast heartbeat, shortness of breath, or muscle pain. Before receiving Tepezza, tell your doctor if you have diabetes, inflammatory bowel disease, or IBD, or are pregnant or planning to become pregnant. Tepezza may raise your blood sugar even if you do not have diabetes and may worsen IBD such as Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis.
I look more like my old self again. Now I wear sunglasses because I want to.
Ask your doctor if Tepezza is right for you and visit mytepezza.com to see Jeannie's before and after photos.
Visible is wireless that doesn't play games. No surprise fees, legit unlimited data for as little as $25 a month. And the best part, it's powered by Verizon. But it gets crazier. Bring a friend every month and get every month for $5. Which is why I brought them. 2 $5 months right here. Hey. Plus the players of my squad. What's up? Then finally, my whole live stream. Boom. 12 months of $5 wireless.
Visible. Unlimited data as low as $25 a month. Or bring a friend and you both get a month for $5. Wireless, it gets better with friends.
When you get back out there, however you get back out there, go green. Because everybody's green when you ride with Uber Green. Yep, even you guys.
Henri staring down the Northeast, threatening to bring widespread flooding and power outages for several days.
And families in this area need to hunker down for a rare direct hit and a long duration event, as conditions not often seen in this part of the country will worsen in the hours to come. All right, now places in Jersey now are starting to get slammed pretty good as heavy rainfall has continued to come down here even during the nighttime hours. Look at this, and we always tell people do not cross flooded roadways, do not drive in through water-covered roadways. Unfortunately, and I can't guarantee that this is the case, Chris, this may have happened so quickly that most didn't even know it was coming. They just got stuck in it. That's really what it looks like here.
Well, and two, this is like a busy intersection, you know, and sometimes it almost looks like an expressway or getting onto some sort of expressway. You can't always turn around on those busier routes, and a lot of those were impacted in a situation like this. So it's nighttime too. It's hard to see. You know, you got the wet roads, and then all of a sudden, boom! If you're going 40 miles per hour, and then you see this, and you're like, okay. What do I do? And at that point, you're already in it too deep.
Yeah, and I think we're at the point right now, you're home, stay home, and just wait. I don't know if we'll give the official, all clear, but keep watching, and we can let everybody know when this heavy rain is going to be done.
Yeah, well, thank you for trusting the Weather Channel as we break down what is already happening, what's coming with Henri, and how soon it will arrive.
Yeah, we're going to track Henri with continuing coverage around the clock as long as it takes, as the impacts from this storm will be felt for days, and already feeling some of those impacts.
Yeah, and it's no surprise it's go time now here in Long Island as people in Montauk, New York, on Saturday were prepping for the storm. Big pile of sand for sandbags, and you can see a live look at Fire Island there on the eastern part of Long Island. Right now, overall fairly quiet. Winds aren't all that strong. You don't see the sea oats there moving a whole lot. We did have one brief shower. That was some of the outermost rain bands, but the core of the rain still offshore by a good 50, 60 miles. So we're watching that move in here fairly quickly, probably in the next couple of hours. Remember, too, hurricane warning remains in effect. Hurricane force winds possible starting in the morning, just a few hours from now, all the way through tomorrow evening.
All right, Henri is now continuing to move north and staying on a pretty quick pace here, and hopefully we'll continue with this pace, because at least the impacts, although they may be hurricane and tropical storm impacts, they may actually move in and get out a little bit quicker now, as the latest advisory from the Hurricane Center has a 75 mile per hour Cat 1 hurricane moving north at 21 miles per hour. 135 miles south-southeast of Montauk Point is where the center is. So Montauk Point out here, and there's a center of Henri, and right now continuing to move northerly at 21. So that's moving pretty quickly, a little quicker than anticipated. For now, the warnings for tropical storm and or hurricane remain in effect. Purple here, including coastal Connecticut and most of coastal Rhode Island and parts of Massachusetts, meaning within 24 hours we may see hurricane conditions. That's probably narrowed down to probably 6 to 12 hours, depending on where you are. Tropical storm warnings mean likely tropical storm conditions. That does include New York City and even on out near Chatham and Mass on the eastern end of it and out near the Cape. All All right, satellite picture showing what looks to be a little bit better organization. At least it looks a little more symmetrical. But what's been happening is that we've seen kind of some of this thunderstorm action get ripped off from the center, and that's the case here as we go through early Sunday morning. So we've had some heavy rain indirectly from Henri come in through New York City. There's been a trough out there, a little weak upper level low, and the plane's still flying around in there and still finding hurricane force winds or less. Picture the center going in this direction, but don't concentrate just on the center of the storm. There's some variability that could happen here. We've already seen a shift in 24 hours from here to about here, just east of Block Island. There can be more changes, and there might be with the 5 o'clock advisory, even with this forward speed. But impacts will be even well outside of where that cone is, all the way into maybe central New York State from the southern tier and just to the east. The west side of the storm will have the heaviest rainfall. That's the way it looks right now. And over the east side of the center may have some of the stronger winds and the potential for some of that higher surge. So storm surge warnings, that's the best opportunity for the greatest water rise. Most of eastern Long Island and into parts of coastal New England, including Connecticut and Rhode Island and into Massachusetts, could be a 3 to 5 foot water rise. In the areas in orange here, Montauk Point out near Nantucket, 2 to 4 foot around that, around Provincetown, and even down here into Nassau County and some of the beaches there. Chris, it does look like some water rise, but to the west, maybe a little bit less than it will be to the east of the center.
All right, so that's the storm surge. Let's talk about the activity we're dealing with right now. There is a live look at Atlantic City, New Jersey. Low clouds. We're dealing with some light rain, but about 30 miles north of you, it is a whole different situation. We've got to watch coastal New Jersey. We are in store for a very dangerous flooding event, I think, tonight and into tomorrow morning. Please be careful. We've already got flash flood warnings in effect and rain that just does not want to move, and we are in a position now where we already have ongoing flooding and are likely to get several more inches of rain. I don't see an end in sight here for central New Jersey as the tail band of Henri is just kind of parking itself and feeding on the moisture here, the tropical moisture. By the way, this shield of rain that has tropical storm force winds with it is only about 50 miles or so from the coast of Long Island. Also here in Rhode Island around Block Island, we're talking about 30 miles away. And here in Martha's Vineyard, we got some of these squalls coming in. Those are going to produce tropical storm force gusts. So we are now entering the active stage of Henri, and it already has started here in New Jersey. Now, winds aren't all that strong with this band. The rain, however, is, and that is what we are seeing here. The rain has pushed out New York City, so things are hopefully improving there. However, southwest of you, we've got flash flood warnings still ongoing here for Middlesex and Monmouth County. That rain seems to be moving. However, in central New Jersey, the rain is like a fire hose and just kind of meandering up and down the coast, but staying stationary between Atlantic City and Toms River, and right in between there for Burlington and Ocean counties, you are under a very concerning flash flood warning. Right now, we haven't seen a lot of reports of flash flooding, but that will likely change here, especially with more heavy rainfall on the way. Look at areas here near Little Egg Harbor that have seen close to 6-7 inches of rainfall in that little orange pocket there right on the coast. So very concerning, and a lot of rain still to get to as that whole band kind of tails into central New Jersey. Take a look at our winds. Buoys here gusting to 25 miles per hour. Nantucket, we've got winds now close to 20 miles per hour, and they're coming out of the east. And while things have been calm for a while, we're starting to get a little bit of a breeze. It's the beginnings of a very busy day ahead, Ray.
And New York's already had some of that very busy weather and heavy rainfall on Saturday night, producing flash flooding. 5 boroughs were under flash flood warnings. Now, luckily, the waters had a chance to recede. As Chris had mentioned, that heavy rain has moved into central Jersey. More on the way, though, for places like New York City and southeastern New York. There's a pretty significant flood threat. At least the potential is there for that. European model through Tuesday now, all right? So this is a multiple-day event. Heaviest rain looks like east of the Poconos here, but maybe getting into the Catskills. Remember, there'll probably be some enhancement of the precipitation here with the Catskills here. So places like Hunter Mountain might get heavy rainfall, and then the tributaries coming down there and flowing all downstream and into the Hudson Valley. Albany, you may see heavy rain and flooding rainfall. That's according to the European model, but it's this general area we've got concern. So remember, this is a forecast of what the model thinks is going to be happening. So heaviest rain forecast to be here, but just because you're here or here doesn't doesn't mean you're not going to get flooding. And that's why when we paint the flood picture with this area of saturated ground here, it is going to be greatest in this area. So the best potential for flash flooding will be there where the ground is saturated over the last 7 days, some spots in excess of 6 inches of rainfall, and there it is. If you're near this area in yellow, in and around the areas in green, expect at least some flash flooding, most likely from Albany south and west out towards Scranton, around New York City once again. And it's not going to be for everybody. I want to emphasize that. If you're in that area of yellow, it doesn't mean it's a guarantee. It means it is likely within that area. There might be spots that get 4 or 5 inches of rain. There's some get less, some may get more. There's a tornado threat here, Torcon of 2, and I was looking at that radar Chris was showing. It looks like maybe even some of those outer bands, we may start seeing that threat come in here early this morning near Nantucket and Provincetown. Some quick spin-ups. Usually when we get tornadoes within these landfalling tropical systems, they're quick movers, quick spin-ups, and usually verify EF0s and EF1s. All right, the flash flood threat tomorrow through Tuesday extends even in through parts of Vermont and New Hampshire. So the St. Lawrence Seaway here, also out near Portland, you may have a flood threat. It all depends on what the forward motion does here. So far, it's been moving faster than forecast, the forward speed anyway of Henri. If that trend continues, we may get saved here just a little bit, but right now, that's pure speculation. Chris?
All right, you mentioned Provincetown. Let's take you out there late this evening into the early morning hours, depending upon your perspective, right? 73 degrees, pretty quiet here, a little bit of a light breeze, but we are watching for the concern here for storm surge. This is going to be something we want to talk about. Let's talk about storm surge because not everybody in this warning will see storm surge. But the chance is there. It's going to be dependent upon where exactly on the coast you are, which direction does your shoreline face, the winds, and the high tides. So let's try and kind of break it down on where we're most concerned about rising water from the ocean. So you pile up the water based on the winds pushing that water in to the shore. And when you have areas here like Long Island Sound, when you get that wind direction like this, it pushes that water up the sound and then kind of traps it. Then you bring in heavy rainfall and you're asking for a recipe here for disaster, especially with flooding. 3 to 5 feet in some pockets here from the north side of Long Island through southern Connecticut, parts of Rhode Island, Narragansett Bay, Buzzards Bay, there around New Bedford, and areas here around Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, Provincetown, areas around the Cape. We're looking at 1 to 3 feet of storm surge, and we'll also see that there in eastern parts of Massachusetts. No real concerns here as offshore winds have plagued us from New Jersey into the Chesapeake Bay, but into New England right now, no real water rise, thankfully. A lot of our winds, for the most part, they're offshore. Some of the water may be piling up a little bit. We had some little bit higher tides there in Kings Point. We had about a water rise of about a foot. That has since improved. I think the tides, they're starting to come down. But here's how the winds all shape up. We'll take you through the next few hours. By 7 a.m., winds are gusting now to tropical storm force in eastern Long Island, also into parts of southern Rhode Island, Block Island, that includes you. Also watching southeastern Connecticut, Nantucket. I think Martha's Vineyard will be more impacted with stronger winds just because we're farther off towards the west. We're looking at an arrival there probably around Rhode Island. Block Island, that could be very close to landfall, or the eastern tip of Long Island. Still undecided at this point. And then, Ray, this weakens very quickly and becomes more extratropical as those winds decrease. The wind field, though, increases. And even though we're talking 30 to 40 miles per hour, that could cause some big-time issues here all across New England.
Yeah, it may be. And in places like Boston, rain's on the way, winds on the way, 25 to 30 mile per hour gusts Sunday into early Monday. Right now, it looks tropical, and I can imagine this air is heavy. It's 72 degrees. The dew points are most likely pretty close to that as we're a little fogged out there, and some of the gusts could get to tropical storm force. Now, what's going to be critical in that is where the center of the low actually ends up going, okay? So if it gets a little bit closer, the winds may be stronger. So in this 30-plus Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening, the difference would be if the low gets closer to you, is it 30 to 35, or is it 40 to maybe higher? That's still potential there with some of that rainfall and the heavy and strong winds starting to come on in. New York City, the winds gust 25 plus on Sunday, 35 mile per hour gusts or higher are possible as we go through Sunday and Sunday afternoon. And some of that may come in some of those bands on the west side for some of us in and around the 5 boroughs. Rain to come on average 2 to 3 inches. This is a good lesson, especially from what happened last night. Not only a tough forecast, but on average 2 to 3 inches, meaning some get less and some may get more. And in some cases around southeastern New York State and in through Long Island and Connecticut and Jersey, you may get more. So in general, 2 to 4 inches of rain. But again, we may see spots down South Jersey, Central Jersey right now that are already receiving Doppler estimated rainfall totals of over 6 inches with some of those bands that come on in. So if you get caught in one of those bands of the heavier rainfall, your totals are going to be far different from places that will be around that band. Nantucket, strongest winds come in midday Sunday in and around that time frame, gusting to tropical storm force. Rain to come less than an inch for most, as we're going to see on the east side of the center, which right now is forecast to go about there. Less precipitation, meaning less rainfall. At least, Chris, that's the way it looks at this time.
All right, let's talk about some inland locations. We'll start in Connecticut. I want to take you to Hartford, where we've got the worst of the winds starting late tomorrow morning. Similar story here in New Haven, Connecticut. 30 mile per hour gusts starting in just a few hours. 50 plus mile per hour gusts likely around lunchtime. That's when the worst of the weather will arrive. Rain here could be close to a half a foot. All right, that's a lot of rain. And we think Connecticut's going to be one of the spots that could see some of the worst of the flooding that will extend into parts of eastern New York, including New York City. Also there around Long Island, we can see upwards of 4 or 5 inches of rain. Lighter amounts as you work your way east into Massachusetts and eastern parts of New England. Here's a look at the winds. New London, we're looking at 30 to 35 mile per hour winds, say by sunrise. Also Montauk, we could be dealing with tropical storm force gusts increasing to perhaps hurricane force winds just in mere hours from now by 9-10 a.m. Providence, we're getting into tropical storm force gusts, 50 mile per hour winds. Also here into northern Connecticut, look at Springfield, Massachusetts tomorrow afternoon. So again, the western part of Massachusetts into Connecticut and Rhode Island kind of bearing some of the worst of the weather, along with Long Island and the coastal impacts as the winds start to recede late tomorrow night. Rainfall, a big issue too. Be sure to stay with us here on the Weather Channel.
Some have a history of building the best trucks. But according to just about anybody who's handing out a trophy, Ram currently builds the best trucks. So if you're shopping for a truck today, here it is. If you're shopping in the past, well, good luck with that. That was then. This is Ram.
Angie's List is now Angie, and it's easier than ever to get your projects done right. Inside, outside, big or small, Angie helps you find the right solution for whatever you need done. With Angie, you can connect with top local pros and see ratings and reviews. Just search or scroll to see upfront pricing on hundreds of projects. And when you book and pay through Angie, you're covered by our happiness guarantee. It's easy to make your home an Angie home. Check out Angie.com today. Angie, and done.
Because it's not a meal without...
Is this locally sourced?
Yep.
Is this farm-raised?
Probably.
Grass-fed?
Yes.
Is this vegan?
No, it's chicken.
Fresh groceries and more. Free same-day delivery. Walmart Plus.
These days, we want sophisticated but simple. Cutting edge, made user-friendly. In other words, we want a hybrid. And so do retailers, which is why they're going hybrid with IBM. A hybrid cloud approach with Watson AI helps manage supply chains while predicting demands with ease. From retail to healthcare, businesses are going with a smarter hybrid cloud, using the tools, platform, and expertise of IBM.
It's time for the biggest sale of the year on the new Sleep Number 360 smart bed. It helps keep you effortlessly comfortable by sensing your movements and automatically responding to both of you. And it's temperature balancing to help you stay comfortable all night. It even tracks your circadian rhythm so you know when you're at your best. In other words, it's the most energy-building, wellness-boosting, parent-powering, proven quality night's sleep we've ever made. Save 50% on the new Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed, plus 0% interest for 24 months and free premium delivery. Ends Monday.
Imagine a visibly healthier pet in 28 days. Purina One, natural ingredients in powerful combinations for radiant coats, sparkling eyes. Purina One visibly healthy pet. Try these Purina One True Instinct formulas for dogs.
Psoriatic arthritis made my joints stiff, swollen, painful.
Tremfya is approved to help reduce joint symptoms in adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Some patients even felt less fatigued.
Serious allergic reactions may occur. Tremfya may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, or if you had a vaccine or plan to.
Tremfya. Emerge Tremfyant. Janssen can help you explore cost support options.
It's a fact. No other news network out there is trusted more than the Weather Channel. And America doesn't trust hurricane season to just anyone.
Millions use NordVPN to protect themselves from cybercrime. People working from any place with internet access. Heroes on a mission. Travelers using unsecured public Wi-Fi. And the ones who have an app for everything. Get the NordVPN app today and be safe online, no matter what you're up to. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
If you were diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos-related lung cancer, call the law firm of Whites & Luxembourg, who, for the last 30 years, has achieved record-breaking New York City mesothelioma and lung cancer verdicts for thousands of your neighbors and coworkers. It does make a difference which law firm you hire, so choose wisely and call Whites & Luxembourg today. Call 1-888-411-LAWS. That's 1-888-411-LAWS.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, rain likely, high 76. Winds northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Rainfall may reach 1 inch. Tonight, rain, low 72. Chance of rain, 70%. Rainfall near 1/4 inch. Monday, cloudy with occasional rain showers. High 85. Chance of rain, 60%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
When it comes to covering the most important issue facing us and our Earth, one day does make all the difference. Now, the Weather Channel and its innovative climate team at Pattern are connecting you every day to the most fascinating stories impacting our planet. For what's now and what's next, rely on the climate experts with the most trusted name in TV news. If it's out there, it's in here. The Weather Channel.
Exactly what they don't need anymore in Waverly, rain. It is coming down once again, showing you some of the damage during a quick drive around one of the neighborhoods. Serious structural damage. Look at this, you can see right into the house. All of this from water. I've seen so many flipped over vehicles. And this is basically every neighborhood looks about the same near Trace Creek in Waverly. Look at that. Insane. So many homes destroyed. And now raining on top of the other damage. There's another car into the ditch, which is filling up again. Well, there's 2 vehicles right there.
All right, a breaking situation in Middle Tennessee. Officials in Humphreys County say at least 10 people have died in flooding there, including 2 toddlers. Another 31 still missing. The Tennessee Emergency Management Agency has activated a level 3 state of emergency as a result of the flooding Humphreys County is west of Nashville, along the Tennessee River. And boy, those are the tough ones. The tough ones to where you can't forecast this. It's almost impossible to forecast 12 to 18 inches of rain. I think it would be an unbelievable forecast. People are like, there's not going to be. There was. And flash flooding, that's why it's very dangerous when you get flash flood warnings. Always heed those warnings, seek higher ground. Unfortunately, I think this one just came on too quickly. Probably got a state record approaching now 17 inches. I think it was 16.99 at one of the rain gauges, Chris. And, unfortunately, fatalities and missing people. And, again, this is one of those ones where it's an anomaly. It's an anomaly for sure.
Yeah, it really is. And it's something we're going to continue to monitor here at the Weather Channel, of course, keeping tabs on those 31 unaccounted for, and hopefully rescuers can find them. Improving weather there for Tennessee. Declining weather here for the Northeast. Now, Providence still quiet out there right now. We got some high clouds streaming in. And if you are up this early and you step outside, you're probably noticing the winds just picking up slightly. It's been so calm here over New England on Saturday. Sunday is going to be a far cry from it. Martha's Vineyard, we're much closer to the storm center, and we're starting to see some showers come in. You can even see the trees. If you look really closely there, you see the power line on the left side of that tower cam. Notice the trees there kind of moving around. So winds are picking up, and they're gusting over 20 to close to 30 miles per hour there at Martha's Vineyard. Also Nantucket, get ready for much stronger winds by the time we get into sunrise. All right, so there's a look at where we expect the widespread evidence of power outages, especially here over Connecticut. We know how easily power goes out in the Northeast. It's such an urbanized area. You got a huge tree canopy, and a lot of times this part of the country, it's been a long time since we've had high winds. Now, we had serious power outages last year with Tropical Storm Isaias, and we're going to see some similar conditions. And remember, too, the storm is not coming at the Northeast like this direction. It's coming more from this direction, so it's going to put a lot of stress on trees that aren't typical to that type of a wind flow. All right, Nantucket, we're sustained now at 17 miles per hour. Provincetown close to 10. Boston, you got an east wind at about 14 miles per hour. And winds also creeping up here in Connecticut and Long Island. Not tropical storm force, but we're getting closer, and we're going to start noticing winds gusting over 30 probably within the hour, and then much stronger than that by 5, 6, 7 a.m. certainly here from Long Island. The storm is racing off towards the north and north-northwest, pushing into likely making a landfall somewhere between the Massachusetts-Rhode Island line to the eastern tip of Long Island. That's where we're coming down to it. Providence, we could see 60-mile-per-hour winds or stronger as this rapidly pushes in tomorrow afternoon, and then weakening, but then expanding its wind energy into southern New England. We're looking at even Vermont, New Hampshire, southern parts of those states could deal with 30, 40-mile-per-hour winds and very heavy rainfall. Ray?
All right, rain and wind and waves, all aspects of Henri as it continues to head on off toward the north. And, sometimes these threats, even well away from the center in terms of the wind and the waves and the rip currents are greater than, maybe one would think. But at this point, closer to the center, exactly what you expect. Some of the highest waves now up to 24 footers are being reported or measured around the center. Now, notice, though, well away from the center there, you've got wave heights of 5 feet coming into the beaches of not only southeastern Virginia, but also through the beaches of Maryland and Delaware, and 8-foot wave heights getting ready to go into maybe the Jersey Shore. So dangerous rip current risk today. If it's not raining, especially the further south you go, pay attention to the flags. Pay attention to what the lifeguards are telling you. It's going to be very dangerous to get out there into the water. All right, we're going to continue to keep you updated on the very latest in every angle of this storm as it makes landfall and beyond with our team of meteorologists that are spread out across the Northeast and New England. We'll have live coverage coming up here this morning, continuing throughout the daytime hours today, covering Henri, its impacts, and how it is going to impact you over the next couple of days.
Seeing blood when you brush your floss can be a sign of early gum damage. New Parodontax Active Gum Repair kills plaque bacteria at the gum line to help keep the gum seal tight. New Parodontax Active Gum Repair Toothpaste.
At Domino's, we're giving away $50 million in surprise frees instead of surprise fees like other delivery apps. When you order delivery online, you could be surprised with free lava cakes, free stuffed cheesy bread, free pizza, or more.
Oh my goodness. I'm the talk of the town. I know you're feeling it now. Come on and move to the sound. And keep it going, and turn it up loud. I got a good feeling. Yeah.
Transitions, light under control.
Starting at the tip of my toes. Feel it in my head and my clothes.
Transition Signature Gen 8. Available now in 4 vibrant style colors. Transitions.
If you have a typical airline credit card, you're not getting double miles on every purchase.
You're right. I only get extra miles on some types of purchases.
May I?
Please.
With the Capital One Venture Card, you earn unlimited double miles everywhere. Yes.
Everywhere is great, but where can we use them?
You can use them on any travel purchase, not just some travel purchases.
Venture gets a gold star.
What's in your wallet?
Return to rugged. The all-new ruggedly redesigned 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
Did you know that your toughest cleaning problems can be caused by hard water metals? They lock in residues on your hard surfaces and dishes like a glue. Try 9 Elements. Its vinegar-powered deep clean dissolves soap scum buildup and removes hard water spots and grease. Made with never more than 9 ingredients. 9 Elements. More than a clean, a cleanse.
Oh no. I think they look good, man.
Smooth. They are a little tight.
Like, too tight? Might just need to break them in a little bit because you don't want them too loose.
For those who were born to ride, there's Progressive.
True.
With 24/7 roadside assistance.
Okay. Think I'm gonna wear these home.
Excellent choice.
It's a fact. No other news network out there is trusted more than the Weather Channel.
This is epic.
Trusted to be there where and when you need us. Trusted to work around the clock until every threat is over.
We're in this for the long haul.
Because America doesn't trust hurricane season to just anyone.
All right, wake up, Hoboken, New Jersey. This was earlier on Saturday night, heavy rainfall. We're seeing more and more of this now as parts of central Jersey dealing with flooding rain, flash flooding, and more flooding continuing to come in here. Luckily, New York City, Chris, has gotten out of it.
Yeah, you got to imagine if you're in one of these apartments, you're looking at your window, you're kind of thinking, is the first floor of our building flooded? Like when you look out the window, I mean, the water's so deep in some of these streets.
Right. And, you know, I think people in New York City were saying, well, what is this? When that rain came in last night.
Yeah, is this a thunderstorm? Yeah. No, it's Henri.
Yeah, it is, and it will continue to be, and that's what we'll be talking about here over the coming days, potentially. Meteorologically, in the back of my head, I'm saying to myself, I do have a little concern about the forward speed, but for now, we'll let the Hurricane Center make adjustments to track intensity and anything like that with 5 o'clock advisory, if they do, and that's coming out here shortly. All right, let's go to New York City, previously mentioned. The city that never sleeps. Well, you're on alert as Henri bears down. Tropical storm warning, flooding rain continues to pound the I-95 corridor near New York City, even before Henri gets into Long Island, too. That's another spot where we may see some of that heavy rain.
And all sorts of warnings extend from down East Maine all the way into Cape Hatteras as the storm swells the eastern seaboard, dumping heavy amounts of rain and likely to knock out power to millions. Let's get you caught up this early morning on what we know about Henri at this hour. Now, the governors of New York, Connecticut, and Rhode Island declare a state of emergency ahead of Hurricane Henri. In Massachusetts, Governor Baker has activated as many as 1,000 members of the state's National Guard to assist in high water rescues and clearing debris. Amtrak canceling service between Boston and New York on Sunday, And President Biden will provide an update on the federal response to Hurricane Henri at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday.
What we know now about the details on Henri, and it is still a hurricane, a 75-mile-per-hour storm, and a storm that, at least at this point, continues to keep its fast forward speed at 21 miles per hour. It's moving north and due north, locating the center, as the last check, the 2 o'clock advisory, 135 miles southeast of Montauk Point on eastern Long Island. So the forward speed staying quick, starting to try to look a little bit better here on the satellite presentation. An hour or so ago, it looked better than it does now, but the center looks like it's right in that area right there, and thunderstorms are trying to wrap around that center. But look at this, starting to see, or continuing, I guess we should say, these kind of bands or these pieces breaking off and providing heavy rain now, which has moved into central Jersey. Air Force reconnaissance out there, or hurricane hunters are out there, continuing to investigate and bring back data to try to get us the best forecast to put into the models, or the best data to put into the models. For now, hurricane warnings stay up most of Long Island, out in Nassau County, most of Nassau County and New York City under a tropical storm warning, meaning tropical storm conditions are possible. Picture the center going down the center of the cone, but don't pay attention to just the center. We will feel impacts even out in this area here to the west, especially with the rain. Further toward the east outside the cone with the wind and storm surge and some rain, but the strongest winds will be felt right around the center, near Block Island and into parts of central and southern Connecticut, and probably Rhode Island too, where we do have storm surge warnings in place for the highest water rise. So these are some of the places we may see the greatest water rise, especially closer to the center, wherever that ends up coming in. Chris?
All right, let's get a look at the radar. We're showing you where the rain is right now. Look at how close these bands are. And these squalls right here, south of Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket, only about 15, 20 miles south, are going to bring in those tropical storm force gusts, especially there with some of those cells likely pushing off from the east to the west. We're going to watch this getting into Long Island probably within the next hour. And that's when winds are going to pick up. But then look at this shield of rain here, causing numerous flash flood warnings. In fact, the worst rain is likely going to be in New Jersey and New York. When you look at the overall totals come Tuesday, we're going to see the heaviest rainfall easily here from New York City to Tri-State into New Jersey, especially with this band setup right here. The rain over the center of the storm has much stronger winds, but it's moving versus this band that's stuck here and staying as a fire hose here along the Jersey Shore. Look at some of these flash flood warnings. We've got some heavy rain into Philadelphia, the worst of which is stuck here near Little Egg Harbor, just north of Atlantic City. We've got several flash flood warnings, including Edison, New Jersey, Long Branch, New Jersey. You're under a flash flood warning. This includes Middlesex and Monmouth counties. That goes until 7 a.m. And then off towards the west, we got another flash flood warning, including Trenton, New Jersey now. And then the big one here, just south of Toms River and north of Atlantic City. This is a very concerning one, including Little Egg Harbor. Some of the radar estimations are now approaching the 5 to 7 inch range with more heavy rain on the way. Be sure to stay with the Weather Channel and download the app.
Busted? Original Gorilla Glue, of course. Works indoor, works outdoor. It's weatherproof, it's waterproof. It's versatile and incredibly strong for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
What up? I'm Sean's brain. And when he's hungry, I wander. And there's only one way to get me back again. Hot Pockets.
Harness the cheesy, meaty, hunger-slaying power of Hot Pockets.
Hot Pockets.
Let's go, Peloton. Welcome to your 30-minute full body strength. Way to show up, Peloton.
Imagine a visibly healthier pet in 28 days. Purina One, natural ingredients in powerful combinations for radiant coats, sparkling eyes. Purina One visibly healthy pet. Try these Purina One True Instinct formulas for dogs.
Trading isn't just a hobby, it's your future. So you don't lose sight of the big picture, even when you're focused on what's happening right now. And Thinkorswim Trading is right there with you to help you become a smarter investor. With an innovative trading platform full of customizable tools, dedicated trade desk pros, and a passionate trader community sharing strategies right on the platform. Because we take trading as seriously as you do. Thinkorswim Trading from TD Ameritrade.
Welcome to Allstate. A place where everyone lives life well protected. And even when things go a bit wrong, we got your back. Here, things work the way you wish they would, and better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click or call for a lower auto rate today.
Visible is wireless that doesn't play games. It's powered by Verizon for as little as $25 a month, but it gets crazier. Bring a friend every month and get every month for $5. Boom. 12 months of $5 wireless. Visible. Wireless that gets better with friends.
Tums versus mozzarella stick. When heartburn hits, fight back fast with Tums Chewy Bites. Fast heartburn relief in every bite. Crunchy outside, chewy inside. Tums Chewy Bites.
Well, of course, my primary concern is for everyone's safety. We want everybody to stay safe, stay indoors during the storm. Don't go out. There's flying debris. There's going to be wires down, trees down, and we'll have crews out dealing with that. Emergency, preparedness team has been activated. It's all hands on deck now until this thing's over.
All right, we're talking hours away now from tropical storm force winds getting into Long Island, also southern New England. We're really watching the radar very closely. You can see the rain shield from Henri about to push in. And here's an idea of how much rain may fall. I want to compare some of the models, the latest trends and what we're seeing. The European now putting a bullseye here around New York City. I think that's fair to say. I also think we got to watch central New Jersey and areas here along Long Island. Now, this is going to be far enough west where we may not have the highest winds, but we are likely going to see the highest rainfall totals. Also a stretch of heavy rainfall now getting into Maine and also there into southern New Hampshire. Also watching, say, the Capital District, the Berkshires, the Litchfield Hills, and areas through Connecticut, all bearing the brunt in some of the worst rain. The GFS saying something similar, maybe not as widespread when it comes to the heavy rainfall, but it kind of pinpoints some of these similar areas, Long Island, the tri-state area, and western parts of Massachusetts into Connecticut. So there's an idea of how much rain we may see. Remember, too, it has been so wet. Grounds are super saturated here from southern New England into central and upstate New York. The last 7 days has proven very wet. We've had over 6 inches, some cases even more than that here through western and northern parts of New York, also into Connecticut and Massachusetts. Cities like Worcester, we had some serious flooding just a few days ago when the remnants of Fred came through. And here we go, bringing in Henri with the worst of the rain kind of being on the west side of the center. Is going to be a big problem here for flooding. We're already seeing it tonight with several flash flood warnings into New Jersey. That is one of the spots we expect the flooding to be, likely in New York City yet again, as we've had some serious flooding over the last 12 hours, and also south of Albany into western Massachusetts and pretty much the whole state of Connecticut under that likelihood for flash flooding, something we're watching here very closely. Severe weather can't be ruled off either. Anytime you have tropical systems, you have rotation, so twisters are something we'll be on the lookout for. This will be on the east side, out towards parts of Massachusetts, Boston, Provincetown, Cape Cod, even Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket could see a little spin up. And flash flooding heading into Monday, Tuesday, Ray. We're looking at most of New England into parts of New Hampshire and Maine.
Yeah, many of those areas have already seen heavy rain from Fred. And we're going to take a look now at the component of water that is not coming out of the sky. It's coming from the Atlantic, and that's the surge and the water rise. Storm surge warnings now. Both coasts here, both sides of Long Island, and coastal Connecticut to Rhode Island and even Massachusetts, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard. This is where the potential is greatest in the warning area for the highest storm surge, which could be in some cases 3 to 5 feet, especially where those winds are coming directly directly in at a 90-degree angle or close to it along the shoreline. That may end up being in this area here and potentially pushing water into Long Island Sound. So that could be a problem, and 3 to 4 foot water rise is expected there. 2 to 4 feet in the watch area out toward the western parts of Long Island, and maybe even along coastal parts of Jersey, the Jersey Shore, maybe a 1 to 3 foot water rise. Same thing for Boston Harbor here, where right now we're not seeing anything. Look at all this. This is all good news because we're not getting real strong flow yet or strong winds, but it's all heading kind of in the wrong direction, or I guess you could say the right direction, right? We don't want this, but we probably will get it as the winds start to pick up. As we get into 7 o'clock Sunday morning. Notice now, these are tropical storm force wind gusts, all right? So some of those outer bands start approaching as the center of Henri approaches. So deteriorating conditions over the first 3 hours of Sunday morning, and then the winds starting to get stronger. Tropical storm force strength at up to 60 miles per hour around Montauk Point and Block Island right there. Nantucket, Provincetown, Providence starting to see your winds increase through midday and Sunday afternoon. Providence now at maybe 60 miles per hour. Again, the strongest winds right around the center, especially on the northeast side, where traditionally it's the northern end of that eye wall, if you want to say that, or the center where the strongest winds are traditionally realized. 30 to 40 miles per hour wind gusts as we go through Sunday evening. Notice now a weakening system, but still, even inland around New Haven and even just inland from the coast here, 30 mile per hour wind gusts, Chris. So it is going to be a pretty active day, night, and even a longer stretch probably into Monday, where we are going to see impacts from this storm.
I want to bring you an update now out of Tennessee, where 10 people are dead, unfortunately, with 31 people still missing. Sudden downpours dumped over 17 inches of rain in just 24 hours. Tennessee Emergency Management Agency activated a level 3 state of emergency, even sending in tactical vehicles, Humvees, and a Black Hawk helicopter to assist with water rescues. And this is all thanks to a plume of thunderstorms that kind of popped up here on Saturday in Middle Tennessee, just west of Nashville. Nashville, we had rainfall, but you go about 40 miles west and boom, it was a whole different story. Significant rain on the order of 3 to 4 inches per hour fell in a very short period of time. You can see the bulk of that coming in late in the afternoon here from land between the lakes, getting into that I-40 corridor. Widespread area of over 6 to 10 inches. And in that pink area, you're looking at 12 to 16 inches of rainfall, which is what's produced some of these extraordinary videos of cars literally being just destroyed by floodwaters. Widespread damage near the town of Waverly. Thankfully, conditions weather-wise for recovery efforts should improve. We may have a few light showers, but nothing heavy here through Tennessee. Some fog likely in the morning, especially with all that lingering ponding and moisture around. Storms then firing up here along the Carolina coast down through the Georgia Isles, and afternoon storms expected in Florida. Stick with us here on the Weather Channel. We'll have more continuing coverage on Hurricane Henri next.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Ensure with 27 vitamins and minerals. Now introducing Ensure Complete with 30 grams of protein.
There's an America we build and one we explore. One that's been paved and one that's forever wild. But freedom means you don't have to choose just one adventure. You get both. Introducing the all-new 3-row Jeep Grand Cherokee L. Jeep, there's only one.
Severe storm damage can cost you thousands in repairs. Hi, Phil Swift here. This storm season, you need the entire Flex Seal family of products. Make fast, easy, on-the-spot repairs. Seal up cracks and holes to prevent wind and water from damaging your home. Now it's easy to make quick automotive repairs. Severe storms can be a nightmare. Now you can patch huge holes to seal up roof leaks. Easily fix busted downspouts and replace loose siding. Floods can destroy your home. Push FlexPace deep into wet surfaces to help prevent flood damage. With the Flex Seal family of products, you can patch, bond, seal, and repair. Even the worst conditions are no match for the Flex Seal family of products. Get the Flex Seal family of products at these fine retailers.
Seeing blood when you brush your floss can be a sign of early gum damage. New Parodontax Active Gum Repair kills plaque bacteria at the gum line to help keep the gum seal tight. New Parodontax Active Gum Repair Toothpaste.
Do you use Viagra or Cialis? Have you been thinking about trying Viagra or Cialis? What if we could promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for Viagra, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call us right now and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for Viagra. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in an unmarked package.
Call us right now, 800-340-9947, 800-340-9947. That's 800-340-9947.
And its innovative climate team at Pattern are connecting you every day to the most fascinating stories impacting our planet. Rely on the climate experts with the most trusted name in TV news. If it's out there, it's in here, the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, rain likely, high 76. Winds northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Rainfall may reach 1 inch. Tonight, rain, low 72. Chance of rain, 70%. Rainfall near 1/4 inch. Monday, cloudy with occasional rain showers. High 85. Chance of rain, 60%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Hurricane Hunter aircraft. Yeah, that's what that is. Flying into Henri earlier. Meteorologists were on board. Noah's aircraft, nicknamed Kermit the Frog. I like that. And just amazing that they're able to do this and bring back data and information put into the models and hopefully give us the best forecast we can possibly get. I can just say that's an acquired taste. Not for me.
No, especially the long hours on the flight.
That might be the biggest thing. I don't know if I would mind like the bumps and everything.
Oh, I have no problem with the turbulence. I love a good turbulent flight.
Oh, well, good for you. I'm not saying I'm not going to paint myself with that brush that I like a good turbulent flight, but at least I would say it would be the duration of the flight that would get me.
Yeah, that would be the hardest thing. Let's get you up to speed with the latest now of Henri. Again, the 5 a.m. advisory coming up soon, and that will have some updates. Also an updated path to see if there is any shifts. It does look like it's jogged slightly off towards the north-northwest versus due north, so we'll see if the speed and direction has changed at all. You've got hurricane warnings and tropical storm warnings, Ray, that extend all the way to the Massachusetts line there, including all of the state of Connecticut.
Yeah, and Chris, if there are changes, whether it's with the advisories or anything else with the storm, 5 and 11 is usually when they make that 5A, 5P, 11A, 11P. So we'll see what they do, but that's coming up here shortly. The track's still off to the east from where it was yesterday. Best chance of power outages. That doesn't mean for everybody, Chris, in the area here in purple, but at least a good opportunity for power outages here in southern New England.
Yeah, we know people are going to lose power, so plan accordingly. Now's the time to charge up your phones, get that juice going just so you can carry it over even many hours after you lose power, and plan on being without power for at least a couple of days. Some of these areas, you bring in a very urbanized area with high winds and flooding. It may take a while to get the power restored. Storm surge warnings, too, also for this Long Island Sound and much of southern New England, including the bays there around Cape Cod. Comparing the rainfall totals, Ray, in good agreements that west of the centers, we're going to have the heaviest rain.
Yeah, we've already seen that, and now more directly, we're going to see that happen here through Western Mass and on into the upstate of New York. Well, not quite upstate, but you get the picture. Heaviest rainfall from the GFS model may get into the interior of New England and just south of Albany. And again, we always say, within these areas that we're projecting the heaviest rainfall, be prepared.
All right, let's get a look at some timing here. Let's start along the coast, Montauk, New York. Those tropical storm force gusts are literally about to encroach upon us. So we're talking anytime from now on through most of the day on Sunday, things dying down as we head into tomorrow night. Now, the strongest winds are going to be, I think, around lunchtime, maybe even a little bit earlier. So expect, say, mid to late morning, heading into the early half of the afternoon. That's when we're going to have some of the worst of the weather here, especially in eastern Long Island, including Montauk Point. Rain to come 2 to 3 inches, although I think there is the potential for more than that. So expect flash flooding and storm surge. Nantucket, Massachusetts, we're going to be east of the center, so our rainfall will be much less than what we see in Long Island. However, we still are going to have wind issues. We're going to have surge issues depending upon what side of the island you're on and the wind direction. Keep in mind, 35-mile-per-hour gust or higher expected late morning into the evening hours. And we've already got squalls that are about to approach upon some of these islands here from Block Island into Martha's Vineyard. Here's a look at the wind gust forecast. Notice Newport, Rhode Island, winds really starting to pick up. Close to tropical storm force here by sunrise, getting up to 60 miles per hour or stronger before lunchtime. Providence will be in the tropical storm force winds here before lunch and also into parts of South Massachusetts. Boston will be gusting upwards of 25 to 35 miles per hour, and then the winds start to die down, but it stays gusty even as we head into the evening hours. And again, rainfall estimates here in eastern Massachusetts will be less than what we see as we work our way farther west. For Providence, those gusts over 50 miles per hour are expected anytime from, say, late morning throughout most of the afternoon tomorrow, right?
Inland, we will see that threat for flooding too, and some stronger winds. Some spots may get to tropical storm force, especially if we start seeing some of those bands move onshore, move inland. Hartford, one spot where we may get 50-mile-per-hour plus gusts as we go through Sunday afternoon and Sunday night. Rain to come about 3 to 5 inches, so some heavy rainfall expected. Look at the rain totals here now on the eastern end of Suffolk County, about 5 inches expected on average. Again, I love saying that because 2 to 4 inches here through central Connecticut and eastern Connecticut into Massachusetts. This is basically what we're expecting on average. If you add everything up, everybody gets rain, but there will be locally higher totals, especially when we get into some of these bands here. And as we look into the daytime hours on Sunday, the rainiest point of this. The winds will start to pick up as we head on through today. This morning, by mid-morning, starting to see some of those real strong gusts now, 60-plus miles per hour out of Montauk Point, Narragansett Bay, 50-plus, Providence at about 42-50 as we go through the day on Sunday. Look at this now, 75-mile-per-hour winds Sunday afternoon, maybe a little sooner as we start to see the center come on shore. It will weaken just a bit, but as we go through Sunday night and into Monday morning, still 25, 35-mile-per-hour wind gusts, still enough to do at least some damage. Further to the north and west, around Albany, 1 to 2 inches of rain, but the ground is saturated here. There are flash flood watches out for Albany County and points south and east into eastern Pennsylvania. You may also see some heavier rainfall, and some of that heavy rain will come down also in New Haven, Connecticut. Rain to come about 2 to 3 inches with the strongest of the winds coming on Sunday afternoon.
Hey, Tracy. You can't say no to a classic.
Ooh! Oh, can't hear you over this flaming hot crunch.
Girl, you know wavy chips are way better for dipping.
Crispy, airy, tasty poppables.
I thought we talked about talking to the chips.
I can't help it.
I love me some Lay's.
All right, I'm taking these.
Okay. Lay's, a little joy with every bag.
I got some baked potato chips.
HomeAdvisor and Angie's List are now Angie, and it's easier than ever to get your projects done right. Inside, outside, big or small, Angie helps you find the right solution for whatever you need done. With Angie, you can connect with top local pros and see ratings and reviews. Just search or scroll to see upfront pricing on hundreds of projects. And when you book and pay through Angie, you're covered by our happiness guarantee. It's easy to make your home an Angie home. Check out Angie.com today. Angie, and done.
At Loan Depot, we know home means everything. As America's lender and the official mortgage provider of Major League Baseball, we fund more than 30,000 home loans each month, providing jobs and investing in hometowns just like yours. So no matter if you're taking your little angels to see the Angels, or if you're watching the first pitch at Loan Depot Park or anywhere in between, Team Loan Depot is by your side. We're at the ballpark, across the nation, and just down the street, saving you money and providing mortgage solutions that are personalized, convenient, and fast. And tailored to the most important home team of all, yours. Give us a call at 844-751-LOAN or visit us online today. Loan Depot, home purchase, home refinance, and the official mortgage provider of Major League Baseball.
This is new Special K dipped with crunchy flakes dipped in creamy chocolatey goodness and tossed with real almonds. New Kellogg's Special K dipped. Do what's delicious.
If you have a typical airline credit card, you're not getting double miles on every purchase.
You're right. I only get extra miles on some types of purchases.
May I?
Please.
With the Capital One Venture Card, you earn unlimited double miles everywhere. Yes.
Everywhere is great, but where can we use them?
You can use them on any travel purchase, not just some travel purchases.
Venture gets a gold star.
What's in your wallet?
Age is just a number, and mine's unlisted.
Try Boost High Protein with 20 grams of protein for muscle health versus 16 grams in Ensure High Protein. Boost High Protein also has key nutrients for immune support. Boost High Protein.
Henri staring down the Northeast, threatening to bring widespread flooding and power outages for several days.
Families in this area need to hunker down. Could be a rare direct hit. A long-duration storm, as conditions not often seen in this part of the country, will worsen in the hours to come. And we were just discussing, if it's a landfalling hurricane in New England, 30 years since that has happened. Last happened with Bob. 30 years ago, when Chris was born, I just learned. All right, New Jersey, you are getting the bulk of the rainfall now, and it's continuing to come down. But this is yesterday. And unlike the past, look at the rain and people scrambling out of the rainfall as we saw flash flooding in New York City. Now it's sagged south into central Jersey, and there'll be more flash flooding. Remember, the warning means flooding imminent or is occurring in many places. Now we are seeing flooding in that occurring category. Watch means potential, warning means it's happening or it is imminent, Chris.
All right, thank you for trusting the Weather Channel as we break down what is coming with Henri and how soon to arrive. I'm meteorologist Chris Bruin alongside Ray Stajic.
Yeah, we're going to track Henri with continuing coverage around the clock as the impacts from this storm will be felt potentially for days.
I want to show you people prepping for Henri in Montauk, New York. Big piles of sand used for sandbags, and we're taking you live to Fire Island here on the coast of Long Island. Not a lot of action at the time being, but that will soon change. We've got very heavy rainfall and also winds that'll be coming in as these bands start to work in here very shortly. Hurricane warning remains in effect, and hurricane force winds possible in just a few hours as we head through latter half of your Sunday morning into the afternoon and evening hours.
And it's going to be an interesting probably 24 to maybe 36 hours or more as Henri continues to push on off toward the north. I'm looking at a radar off to my left, and it looks like it's trying to make a little bend toward the west. But right now, as we've got it from the Hurricane Center as of 2 a.m., winds at 75, so that's a minimal Category 1 storm, Category 1 hurricane moving north at 21. Center 135 miles south-southeast of Montauk Point, so that's out here in the eastern end of Suffolk County. And starting to see some of that squally weather come on in now. Hurricane warnings, most of Long Island. out toward the western end of it, including New York City, tropical storm warning. So that's where it's more likely we'll get either hurricane conditions or tropical storm conditions, depending on which warning you're under. And as we can see, this blow up of thunderstorms, at least over the last 12 hours, it's gotten a little bit more centered or focused around the center. And looking at that same radar out of my left eye here, I could see some thunderstorms trying to get wrapped around the northwest side at the center, too. Hurricane hunters are out continuing to investigate and give us data that is very valuable and put it into the models to make changes if they are needed to the forecast. The latest track from the Hurricane Center puts the center right down the center of their cone of uncertainty, and there still could be adjustments to this, and there may be at 5 o'clock. Yesterday morning, it was there, I promise you, because I was here. Today, they put the center actually just east of Block Island. So there have been changes, and for some, that's going to be significant. So any changes in the track to the left or right could be more or less in terms of impact. So 65-mile-per-hour storm by Sunday evening, 35-mile-per-hour, most likely remnants or depression or whatever we're going to call it. It's still what is now Henri, continuing to push through parts of New England, and as it does, it will continue to weaken. Here's the storm surge advisories. Warnings is where it's more eminent, where we are going to get a water rise, maybe 3 to 5 feet in some spots, especially on the eastern end of Long Island and into New England, Chris, where that water is just going to be pushing in. And for Long Island Sound, it may not be able to get out for a certain period of time, too.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the troubled spots. Well, far away from the center of where Henri will be, we're getting in on some major flooding here that's ongoing this morning in Atlantic City, New Jersey, just to your north. Now, we've been dealing with light rain. You can see those low clouds kind of hovering over the boardwalk and the boats. 20 miles north of you, very different situation. I want to show you the burst of tropical moisture that we have here over New Jersey. And we're also watching parts of eastern Pennsylvania now. It may not be very long before flash flood warnings start to get issued for cities like Philadelphia. Look at the heavy rain now that is streaming through the city of brotherly love. New York, we had a lot of flash flooding 6 hours ago, but things have quieted down. So hopefully we're allowing for some draining in this lull before all of this wet weather pushes back in. Notice how close these bands are now, 40 miles or so from Long Island, and we're starting to get in on some of those bands here around Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard. You're next, and eventually those are getting into Block Island, and then here towards Buzzards Bay, Narragansett Bay, getting into southern Rhode Island, also Long Island Sound as we get into the morning hours. I want to start, though, in New Jersey. This is a very concerning situation. This rain is not moving. It is stuck over the same areas. Trenton, New Jersey, you're under a flash flood warning. Also here in Middlesex County, Monmouth County, including Long Branch. However, things are improving there in Edison and northern parts of the Jersey Shore. Central New Jersey now kind of bearing the brunt of some of the worst of the weather. You've got flash flood warnings here for Burlington and Ocean counties, and zooming in more closely, rainfall totals are now increasing here around Philadelphia and Trenton, where we've seen anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain. But look at areas just north of Atlantic City. In fact, near Little Egg Harbor, we're getting in on that 5 to 8 inch category now, and that is expanding and really causing some issues kind of between Little Egg Harbor and Toms River. And that is something we're going to have to watch for very closely here, at least for the next few hours. That band of rain is not going anywhere. It's not producing a lot of wind, but it is causing some very concerning flooding. All right, here in Nantucket, we are now over 20 miles per hour gusts now at 35 with those outer bands. Expect similar conditions there in Martha's Vineyard. Montauk, we have now seen winds out of the north and east. At 10, gusting to 21. That's some of the highest winds we've seen, although not destructive. We're getting close, Ray, to some of those more concerning impacts.
Yeah, and those will be with more flooding coming in. Kind of had a little surprise here in New York City last night. Very heavy rainfall, indirect impacts from Henri here. Look at this, running down the stairway here in New York City. The concrete canyons of New York, just no place for that water to go except into businesses and residents and hanging on the roadways, and it looks like we'll continue to see the water, at least in the short term, let up a bit. That's coming out of the sky. Longer term, there may be more heavy rain on the way, and the European model almost has this right for some of that heavy rain that's falling now. Believe it or not, it's probably down in here. So this is what I like to say about forecasting and guidance. This is just the forecast. If you're in any of the areas here that are in darker green and yellow or close to it, expect heavy rainfall and the potential for more flooding. The USGFS model, about similar with the idea that there's going to be heavy rain. The question is it here or is it all here where the European model has it? Again, in general, these are the areas where the heaviest flooding rain is going to fall and continue to fall. Best flood threat where it's already fallen and or where we've had previous rain from days past from Fred. A lot of that's been through the western part of New York State and through the southern tier and central Pennsylvania. So that area should escape the heaviest of the rain, but it's close. The best chance and likely flooding in the area in yellow. So Albany, Schenectady, Detroit, south of that and east of that. Tornado threat also, as with any landfalling tropical system. 2 in 10 chance of a tornado here. Eastern parts of New England, that'll be the best chance as those bands start to work in. And traditionally, they're quick movers, and you're going to have to be quick to act because they spin up quickly, too. So be ready in Eastern New England for alerts. Have your alerts set on your phone so you can take cover if you do need to. Flash flooding tomorrow through Tuesday. Probably starting here, ending up over here as we go through Tuesday morning as we watch what's left of Henri continue to slow down. At least that's the forecast, and maybe stick around for a few days, right? And if it does, we may see heavy rain through parts of northern and in the interior of New England in excess of 4, 5, 6 inches. That's according to the European model. GFS model, not as aggressive further north, but still, as we had seen, we continue to see that heavy rain around Massachusetts and parts of Connecticut. So I think that big yellow kind of circle, Chris, is the best one that says in that area, expect flash flooding. Not for everybody, but for some, certainly, and maybe even the majority.
Yeah, and water rising from rain, a problem. And then when you bring in the storm surge, you've got some bigger issues. The combination of the two leads to some significant flooding, and that's something we're looking out for. Here in eastern Massachusetts on the Cape, 73 degrees, pretty quiet this evening, but things will change. In fact, we're getting close to tropical storm force winds on Nantucket as these outer bands are working in Martha's Vineyard. You're next. All right, let's take a look at storm surge warnings. We haven't seen a lot of surge yet, but things will change as we get into the daylight hours and then work our way through Sunday, especially through the mid-morning hours. We got to look at the tide cycles because that's going to be a big factor and when we expect the worst of the storm surge. And winds are going to be key. Your direction, your location, all going to be a factor. Not everybody in that orange shaded region will see 3 to 5 feet of storm surge, but that's where we expect some locations to hit. And then also here, even eastern Massachusetts, Boston Harbor, Logan, very vulnerable spot. The Logan International Airport is vulnerable for rising water, and that's something we'll be on the lookout for. All right, so even coastal New Jersey, a 1 to 3 foot water rise at times. Right now, no issues there in the mid-Atlantic coast. We work our way farther north. And here across New England, we're still fairly okay for the most part. I think the tides are receding and we haven't had a ton of water rise. Earlier, we did have about a foot water rise in parts of some of these gauges. Take a look at the winds, and we're going to get those winds to come in off of the north and west to start. So that means eastern Massachusetts, that's some of our worst conditions that we'll see. So our storm surge would be more early on. But as we get winds to come out of the north, we're going to be looking at the Long Island Sound. So the north end of Long Island towards the Sound side, that'll be the spot that we'll be on the lookout for. Block Island, the North Shore, Martha's Vineyard, also in Nantucket, and then the Cape, all going to be spots to watch. And then the storm makes landfall and we get that southwesterly push, and that pushes all the water into places like Narragansett Bay, also around Buzzards Bay, and then working on the south shores of Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. So those are going to be the issues, and then that would be when we see some concerns, say, around Fire Island, also there on Montauk Point as that storm comes inland and then starts to weaken. But overall, here's a look at the tides. High tide on Sunday is about 9:18. So we're at low tide right now, Ray. The next low tide will be in the afternoon. I think that morning high tide will be key, but we'll have offshore winds tomorrow night at 9:43. We could have some of the worst flooding on the ocean side of Long Island as those winds shift out of the south and west.
Yeah, that's a great point to make, too. Even as the low passes your latitude, you may be looking at storm surge coming in on the backside. Let's take a look. Dark 30 here in Boston right now. Light winds at 14 miles per hour with some gusts today, 25 to 30 miles per hour or higher. That could happen Sunday evening. Rain to come, about an inch. maybe more for some, as we're looking at the worst impacts from Henri, especially this afternoon, all right? So this afternoon, this evening, some of the gusts 30-plus miles per hour. The question will be, are we 30-plus, 30 to 35, or are we higher? Do we get the tropical storm force? I don't think it's out of the question, but I think the strongest winds will be right around the center where that center goes, which may go just to your west, and you may be far enough away to escape the strongest of the winds. Either way, not a good-looking Sunday forecast, especially the second half of the day. New York City, in some terms, the damage already done. I mean, they had 6-7 inches of rainfall and significant flooding around the city already. Today we'll get the wind component. There is a tropical storm warning in place, 35 mile per hour plus wind gusts. So some of the gusts may get the tropical storm force as the radius of the wind field, the tropical storm force winds, does extend out over 100 miles. The question will be, are you going to be on that western end of those tropical storm force winds? So I don't think significant wind, but still more rain. This is going to be where the story is going to be made. And does the heavier rainfall get back into New York City? The forecast is at least for an additional 1 to 2 inches, and at least for now, suggesting that the heaviest rain is east, at least where we see the most persistent and the most widespread heavy rain. Probably not going to rule out the chance that we see some locally higher totals with this rain, as we would expect, especially in some of those banding features. Nantucket hunkered down. The worst starting to work in this morning in through the midday hours. Rain to come less than an inch. Chris?
Well, let's get a look at some inland locations. We'll start here in New Haven, Connecticut. Gusts over 30 miles per hour expected through the morning and afternoon hours. There'll be an all-day event there. The worst of the winds will be in the afternoon, and heavy rainfall. 2 to 3 inches, I think, is going to be on the lower end. We could see much more than that, especially as things evolve. Here's an idea of what we may see here across parts of Connecticut, also Long Island. And notice the latest tally now putting over 6 inches of rainfall, perhaps, say, on eastern parts of Long Island, including near Montauk. New Haven sits in south central Connecticut. Hartford, we could see quite a bit of rain. And this area was hard hit just a few days ago with the remnants of Fred. So grounds and creeks and rivers and streams are already running high. Down trees are going to be a factor, too, when you take into account the saturated soils. And take a look at the winds here. Timing things out, winds really going to be picking up here in the next 30 minutes to an hour to 2 hours. We'll watch out in parts of eastern Long Island. Block Island, you're going to be dealing with the tropical storm force winds here before sunrise. And then gusty winds getting into New London and parts of eastern Connecticut, say around 9 a.m. Winds picking up to 30, 40 miles per hour in Hartford through the midday hours. Providence, 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, likely from lunchtime into the early half of the afternoon. Narragansett and areas around southern Rhode Island may deal with some of the worst of Henri. So we got to watch that onshore push too, coming into some of these bays leading into cities like Newport. Very vulnerable spot. So we'll watch out for that. Farther north, we're going to be seeing the rain getting into cities like Albany and the Capital District as we get into tomorrow night and then on Monday. Totals here, Ray, could it be anywhere from 1 to perhaps 2, even 3 inches of rain?
Thanks, Chris. And flash flood watch there in points south and east. Now, let's take a look now. It is post time as we look at the satellite picture now and the radar. Heavy rainfall. Some of those bands now starting to get in through Nantucket and the eastern end of Long Island within the hour or the next hour or two. Probably going to see deteriorating conditions here as the heavy rain continues to push in. Very heavy rainfall and flash flooding occurring out across central Jersey. This will continue, especially down to the south of Toms River, where that rain's training.
Doing it yourself doesn't have to mean all by yourself. With the Home Depot as your partner, doing's never been easier. You can pick up skills in a virtual workshop. Pick up what you need fast or have it delivered same day. And if you have more projects than you have time to do them, we can even help with that. This is doing like never before. This is the Home Depot, how doers get more done.
You probably think Visa is a credit card company, huh? But it's actually a network, connecting just about everyone to just about everyone else. It can open eyes with a cup of coffee and change minds about what makes a business a business. And it is working to connect everyone, everywhere. So, meet Visa, a network working for everyone.
Make this the summer you taught them what it means to serve. The summer of hauling happiness by the ton and bringing home hardware by the handful, where traditions were passed down on the tailgate. And the only thing more powerful than the feeling was the truck that took you to it. Make this the summer of Ram.
Right now, get 0% financing for 72 months, plus no monthly payments for 90 days on the 2021 Ram 1500.
That's a joke.
Do not repeat that to anyone, right?
You're gonna fight.
Do not repeat that to anyone.
The video calling device designed to bring people closer. Share something real. Portal from Facebook.
For over 50 years, Purina Cat Chow has been helping cats feel at home with trusted nutrition. No wonder it's the #1 dry cat food in America. Come home to Cat Chow.
Visible is wireless that doesn't play games. It's powered by Verizon for as little as $25 a month, but it gets crazier. Bring a friend every month and get every month for $5. Boom. 12 months of $5 wireless. Visible. Wireless that gets better with friends.
She's eating the rocket.
Lunchables, built to be eaten.
It's a fact. No other news network out there is trusted more than the Weather Channel. And America doesn't trust hurricane season to just anyone.
Are you looking for a new career with real growth potential? Spectrum is hiring. Whether you're looking to help customers, share knowledge, make connections, or enjoy uncapped earning potential, we have a role for you. So if you're ready to start a career with a company that offers comprehensive benefits, 401k, and complimentary services, visit jobs.spectrum.com today.
Had enough? No. Arthritis. Here, new Aspirin Arthritis. Full prescription strength. Reduces inflammation. Thank the gods.
Don't thank them too soon.
Kick pain in the Aspirin.
Allergy sufferers. Bedtime means it's time to take Zysol. Zysol relieves allergies while you sleep, so you wake refreshed. And in a clinical study, after just 1 day, 90% felt powerful 24-hour relief. So be wise all. Take Zysol at night.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, cloudy with periods of rain. High 76. Rainfall possibly over 1 inch. Tonight, rain, low 72. Chance of rain, 70%. Rainfall around a ½ inch. Monday, considerable cloudiness with occasional rain showers. High 85. Chance of rain, 70%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
When it comes to covering the most important issue facing us and our Earth, one day does make all the difference. Now, the Weather Channel and its innovative climate team at Pattern are connecting you every day to the most fascinating stories impacting our planet. For what's now and what's next, rely on the climate experts with the most trusted name in TV news. If it's out there, it's in here. The Weather Channel.
Terrible situation here in Tennessee. Officials in Humphreys County say at least 10 people have died in flooding there, including 2 toddlers. 31 people are still missing as of last check. The Tennessee Emergency Management Agency has activated a level 3 state of emergency as a result of the flooding. Humphreys County is west of Nashville along the Tennessee River, and this is one of those events. I'll call it an anomaly, you call it whatever you want, but you can't forecast it. It would be an unbelievable forecast if you said, well, we're going to get thunderstorms and 17 inches of rain. Just an unfortunate situation here. You could see that big area of rainfall, and now we're trying to confirm whether it's a state record. Most likely it's going to be. Doppler estimates here showing this area in pink, 12 to 18 inches. And the problem is that it came down in a short period of time, and that's why they call it flash flooding. And in this case, just a terrible situation west of Nashville, as there'll be cleanup and there's recovery efforts going on right now, Chris. And just one of those things. It's a freak of nature, and hopefully we can get this cleaned up and get everything back to order soon.
We'll continue to follow the latest updates there out of Middle Tennessee. I want to get back to Hurricane Henri, and you are looking live at Martha's Vineyard, and boy, have things changed. Look at the winds. You can see the trees there definitely getting rocked. We're gusting close to 30 miles per hour. These are some of the outer squalls that are hitting some of these southern islands, including Block Island, Nantucket. We had a 35 mile per hour gust just at last check. Not a ton of rain, but roads are wet, and conditions here are really going to be taking a turn for the worst by about sunrise, we think. That's just a couple of hours away. So get ready for a turbulent morning. Similar conditions expected there for Long Island, and boy, we're going to see things go downhill here in Connecticut and Rhode Island as well. Even parts of Massachusetts, Springfield, Worcester, the southwest side of the Boston metro area, getting into New Bedford, Newport, Rhode Island. Those are all going to be spots to watch, and then a possibility for some of those power outages as far west as New York City, and getting even up into the Capital District and southern parts of Vermont and New Hampshire. All right, let's show you the wind forecast. And right now, look at this. Nantucket, we are sustained at over 20 miles per hour, gusting to 32. Montauk, we've got northeasterly winds, and that is putting us at 20 mile per hour gusts, gusting to now 23 miles per hour in Providence, and then winds slowly decreasing, but they are picking up from there. All right, so here we go. Winds only get stronger here in the next couple of hours. We'll be seeing those tropical storm force gusts probably before sunrise for parts of Long Island, into Block Island, certainly into Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket, and then even getting into cities like Narragansett and Newport, Rhode Island, where our own Reynolds Wolf will be here shortly reporting to us live. Take a look at how things change. Hurricane force winds in Montauk, perhaps, as we get into the mid-morning hours, into the early half of the afternoon. Providence gusting over 50 at times. Boston winds starting to pick up for you, and that's when we'll see some of that water rise, especially there along those east-facing beaches. And we know how vulnerable places like Boston Harbor can be. Logan International sits right there on the water and can be a vulnerable spot. And then even here after the storm makes landfall and pushes inland, we're going to see that wraparound winds coming out of the southwest. And that's when we'll have a big rise coming into some of these bays like Buzzards Bay, Rhode Island, all the waterways there, and then into Long Island too, Ray.
All right, we'll take a look now what's starting to happen here out through eastern parts of New England near Nantucket. Winds gusting now, 35 miles per hour. See the rain's coming down. So, yeah, you know what? I was going to say if you do get out, it'll be high-speed wipers, slow-speed travel. But don't get out. Just stay where you are. It's going to be an all-day event, and at least it looks like it's going to be, as Hurricane Henri is also kicking up some dangerous rip currents and waves, even well away from the center now. Some of the wave heights now have got in excess of 23 feet here as you can get out near the center. And they're propagating toward the west, or toward the east coast. And let me say that 3 times fast. And that's producing dangerous rip currents up and down the eastern seaboard as far south as the Florida beaches too. So as we watch the center approach southern New England, this is when we're starting to see that water rise come in and the breakers coming in here around Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket, Montauk Point, and into coastal Rhode Island. So some high seas along with the rip current risk and along with the water rise and the surge, a combination for flooding and some of that flooding getting just inland with a 3 to 5 foot surge projected here. The wind should start to break down a bit as well as the waves as we head on through Sunday afternoon. But this is what I was talking about, the rip current risk today up and down the eastern seaboard. Now, the Carolina beaches from South Carolina and even into Georgia, maybe not a great chance of rip currents because of how far west and a little jut in that they have to the west, but still rip current risk even if the sun's out and the beaches out near Hatteras and out near the Outer Banks. So pay attention to your hazard flags. If you see the double red, you're closed, you're not in the water, dangerous, and take a lot of caution if you do see a red flag up, and you get the all clear when you see a green flag, so that's when you're able to get back into the water. Well, stay right here at the Weather Channel. We'll continue to update you on Henri as we head on through the day with crews spread out all across the Northeast and New England.
Your mission: stand up to moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis and take it on with Rinvoq. Rinvoq, a once daily pill, can dramatically improve symptoms. Rinvoq helps tame pain, stiffness, swelling, and for some, Rinvoq can even significantly reduce RA fatigue. That's Rinvoq relief. With RA, your overactive immune system attacks your joints. Rinvoq regulates it to help stop the attack.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious infections and blood clots, sometimes fatal, have occurred, as have certain cancers, including lymphoma, and tears in the stomach or intestines, and changes in lab results. Your doctor should monitor your blood work. Tell your doctor about any infections, and if you are or may become pregnant while taking Rinvoq.
Take on RA. Talk to your rheumatologist about Rinvoq relief. Rinvoq. Make it your mission. If you can't afford your medicine, AbbVie may be able to help.
Get new floors during Empire Today's gigantic 75% off sale. That's carpet, hardwood, vinyl, and laminate. 75% off. Empire makes getting beautiful new floors easy. See samples in your home. Get a free estimate and have your floors professionally installed. Update your floors with Empire and get 75% off carpet, hardwood, vinyl, and laminate. Schedule now.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
Whenever you're ready. When you're ready, come and get it. When you're ready, come and get it. When you're ready, when you're ready.
Age-related macular degeneration may lead to severe vision loss.
So the National Eye Institute did 20 years of clinical studies on a formula found in PreserVision.
If it were my vision, I'd ask my doctor about PreserVision.
It's the most studied eye vitamin brand.
If it were my vision, I'd look into PreserVision.
PreserVision AREDS 2 contains the exact nutrient formula recommended by the NEI to help reduce the risk of moderate to advanced AMD progression.
I have AMD. It is my vision, so my plan includes PreserVision.
Whoa! I see you're loving Cricut's unlimited plan with all these awesome extras. But it's time to stop scrolling. Nice. Everything you want, including the price.
Fall together with Lowe's. Labor Day values now in-store and online. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility.
It's a fact. No other news network out there is trusted more than the Weather Channel.
This is epic!
Trusted to be there, where and when you need us. Trusted to work around the clock until every threat is over.
We're in this for the long haul.
Because America doesn't trust hurricane season to just anyone.
All right, kind of offset from the center of Henri, Hoboken, New Jersey. This was earlier Saturday night. Yep, that's water. That's water-covered roadways, and that's cars driving through water-covered roadways. Flash flooding, and more is on the way as they're dealing with heavy downpours here in central and south Jersey. They dealt with it in around the 5 boroughs of New York, and you may be dealing with it elsewhere, Chris.
Yeah, things have improved around the New York City metro area, but New Jersey is getting slammed right now, and some of that heavy rain getting into Philadelphia too. Far-reaching impacts here of Henri. Take a look at some of the warnings that we have up as winds are starting to increase, Ray.
Yeah, they are, and the winds starting to pick up 35 miles per hour now out in eastern New England, and some areas may actually continue to see these winds get stronger before they get weaker over the next coming hours. So I think we're on approach now, Chris.
Yeah, we are. We're already seeing those bands, and it just goes downhill from here, and it's happening quickly as this is a fast-moving storm. Well, let's get you caught up on what we know about Henri at this hour. The governors of New York, Connecticut, and Rhode Island declare a state of emergency ahead of Hurricane Henri. Connecticut suspends bus service statewide and will not resume bus service before Monday morning. Massachusetts state campgrounds, pools, and parks will all remain closed at least through Monday. And President Biden will provide an update on the federal response to Hurricane Henri at 4 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday.
And let's get the latest now as of the 2 a.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center. Going to be soon here. Just before the top of the hour, we're going to have the latest update. Continuing with a 75 mile per hour Category 1 hurricane. It's basically stayed that for the last 24 hours or so. Pressure 987 millibars, moving north now at 21 miles per hour. So it hasn't slowed down yet with the last few advisories. And with that forward speed now, we're on approach as some of the outer bands are starting to get into looks like eastern Long Island. But some of these fringe kind of indirect impacts have already hit New York City, and now that heavy rain is out across central and south central Jersey. But you can see the center here trying to get its act together. I've been saying that, and it just hasn't had that real kind of clear center, at least on the satellite picture. But thunderstorms still around that center, trying to wrap around here as we head through the morning. Hurricane hunters are out flying through this storm and sending back information. But as we said, right now they're still under hurricane under 75 mile per hour winds is what they're finding. But we keep these hurricane warnings in place for now, and the tropical storm warnings in red that do still include New York City and down near Long Branch and Hartford, Connecticut, the center of Henri passing down the center of the cone. At least that's forecast in the latest track from the Hurricane Center. So it's made quite a shift off toward the east in the last 24 hours, but impacts will be to the west, and pay attention even to the west of where the cone is. This is an area where some of the heaviest rain will be. Each storm is unique, and this one is no exception. As we look at the radar, all the rain is to the west side, the heaviest and where most of the rain impact will be. And to the east side, the strongest winds and where the highest surge will be. And that's why the storm surge warnings stay in place here for eastern New England, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, and even through Long Island Sound, where we may have a problem here with water trying to get out of the sound with the direction of the winds coming in with a hurricane that may be approaching in that direction or in that area, possibly into coastal parts of Rhode Island. 2 to 4 foot rise expected western Long Island, out near Provincetown. Certainly the latest from the Hurricane Center coming up in just a bit. Chris?
All right, I want to show you Henri from the radar. Very interesting shape, right? You've got your hurricane right here, but look at how far west these outer bands go, and that's what's causing serious flooding here in central New Jersey. Notice the outer bands too now getting into southern Massachusetts. We've seen it in Nantucket and Cape parts of Martha's Vineyard. This now getting into southern Rhode Island, Block Island, you're next, and eventually that's going to work into eastern parts of Long Island. We can zoom in a little bit more closely. This band right here gusting over 30 miles per hour. That's headed for New Bedford, areas here around Buzzards Bay. We've seen some very gusty winds around Nantucket. In fact, the tower cam showing you that. And then this all working on shore over the next hour. So we'll monitor that situation as wind starts to pick up from there. Meanwhile, it's flash flooding here. Very considerable risk here for flash flooding as that band has just been parked over central New Jersey all night long now. And heavy rain getting into Philadelphia. Wouldn't be surprised for some flash flood warnings to be picked up as we head into the morning hours. And you can see radar indicated flash flood warnings here for Ocean and Monmouth counties. That includes Toms River and areas just to the south, just north of Little Egg Harbor, where totals are approaching concerning levels now, especially with the heavy rain ongoing and how much we've already seen. In some cases, we've had over 6 to 8 inches of rainfall. just in the last 6 hours. And we'll continue to track the winds. Latest gusts over 30 miles per hour at both Nantucket and some of the buoys offshore. Be sure to stay with the Weather Channel and download our app on your TV.
I've got moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now there's Sky Rizzy.
Things are getting clearer. I feel free to bare my skin. Yeah, that's all me. Nothing at me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin. That's my new plan. Nothing is everything.
Achieve clearer skin with Sky Rizzy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clearer skin at 4 months. Of those, nearly 9 out of 10 sustained it through 1 year. And Sky Rizzy is 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
I see nothing in a different way. It's my moment, so I just gotta say, nothing is everything.
Skyrizi may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or coughs, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Nothing is everything.
Now is the time to ask your dermatologist about Skyrizi.
It's so good to see you guys. Han, out here.
Are we on yet? I thought we were doing a Zoom thing.
Confused?
No.
Maybe you just need a Snickers. Tide Pods Ultra Oxy one-ups the cleaning power of liquid.
Can it one-up whatever they're doing?
For sure.
Seriously?
One-up the power of liquid, one-up the toughest stains. Any further questions? One-up the power of liquid with Tide Pods Ultra Oxy.
Age is just a number, and mine's unlisted.
Try Boost High Protein with 20 grams of protein for muscle health versus 16 grams in Ensure High Protein. Boost High Protein also has key nutrients for immune support. Boost High Protein.
These used cars look the same, but how can you tell which one's the better deal?
Bringing Dad from Sarasota? Hey, Dad.
This one's broken.
Dads are great, but let's say, show me the Carfax value. You'll get the most accurate price based on the vehicle's accident history. Look for me and stop overpaying. Shop at the all-new Carfax.com.
Monday, payday, Tuesday, payday, Wednesday, payday, Thursday, payday, Friday, payday, Saturday, payday, Sunday, payday. Payday.
Whoa! I see you're loving Cricket's Unlimited plan with all these awesome extras. But it's time to stop scrolling.
Nice.
Everything you want, including the price.
Fall together with Lowe's. Values now in-store and online. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility.
This is not just coastal communities that are impacted, but an entire state. Storms of this magnitude can extend from the coast out several hundred miles, so we all really need to heed the warnings and prepare.
All right, well, preparation time is pretty much done as the winds are now increasing. We've already gusted over 35 miles per hour in Nantucket, and they will only get stronger from there. The bands are making it into New England as we speak. Let's talk about rainfall. The latest model guidance is saying we could have quite a bit of rainfall here around the tri-state area into parts of New Jersey. We're really concerned about Connecticut and Long Island, also western Massachusetts, and even here into the Hudson River Valley and southern New England, looking into that stretch that may bring us into Maine as we head into early next week. So we're watching that risk here for flash flooding. GFS similar, but not exact, and saying maybe not as widespread. Either way, models are going to not predict everything that happens, but it gives you an idea where some of the worst of the weather will fall. All right, we know flooding will be an issue, especially given how wet this area has been this summer. Some cases, this is one of our wettest summers on record. In places like Worcester, Massachusetts, we are on pace for that, and more rain to come come. In fact, very concerning, especially with just after the hard hit we had from the remnants of Fred just a few days ago, especially here in Connecticut and Massachusetts. Well, there's Fred, and we're going to have the worst of the weather well off to the west of the center. That brings New Jersey and New York in play, and that means the likelihood of flash flooding. We've already seen it overnight. In fact, late last night, we had serious flooding here around New York City. Now, thankfully, things have improved, but still tracking some very heavy rainfall into parts of eastern Pennsylvania and especially central New Jersey right now. Here is where we expect the risk of any tornado threats. Low on the risk overall, but anytime you have a tropical system, you have rotation, you're going to have that risk. So they'll be quick moving, likely going to be rain wraps. You're not going to have much warning, and they will likely be on the weaker scale, but they can cause damage. And some of these may be over water and move on to land. And there's a lot of these small little islands and coastal villages. So be mindful of that here around the Cape and into eastern Massachusetts, including you in Boston. Flash flooding heading into Monday. And early on Tuesday, then shifts into parts of central New England. We're talking about southern Vermont, New Hampshire, and into central Massachusetts. And again, there's an idea of how much rain we may see. Totals could be anywhere from 3 to 7 or more inches, especially around the tri-state area, Ray.
And we're going to have a problem with also water coming in from the Atlantic, and that's going to be the surge threat, the coastal threats. With Henri will continue to increase now as we go through this morning into the afternoon. Storm surge warnings, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, coastal Rhode Island, and Connecticut, and most of Long Island, a watch further toward the west. This is where we're expecting the highest water rise, and that water rise could be anywhere from 3 to 5 feet. So that does include Nantucket and out near Narragansett Bay here, Montauk Point along the beaches here, even into the Hamptons, we may see a water rise. But looking at where the Hurricane Center has the center going right now, the worst may be just to the east of that center. And then maybe for Long Island Sound, the winds start pushing water into the Sound, may lead for the north-facing beaches and the beaches here in Connecticut to maybe a little bit more of a water rise there, too. So everybody under the gun. If you're in the warning area, please, hopefully you've taken your precautions. Right now, I got nothing. We got zeros across the board here, and this is a good thing. We do expect that to change, though, in the coming hours. Wind speed and the wind gust forecast already getting close here at Nantucket. Last I saw was the 35, so we're going 35 plus here by 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Then we break 40 by 7, probably break 50 after that as we go through midday. 60 to 75 mile per hour wind gusts. We get to hurricane force winds right around the center. So that hurricane force wind field isn't all that expansive. So 74 plus mile per hour winds will be in a very limited area. More widespread tropical storm force wind gusts through Sunday afternoon. Deteriorating conditions around Boston with kind of squally weather in with some of the bands of rain. 40 mile per hour wind gusts through Sunday night and Monday, still experiencing gusty winds and rain. And then at high tide, and these tide cycles is when we catch maybe on the backside here in the afternoon hours, Sunday morning into Sunday afternoon, some of the highest surges here in and around places like Nantucket and even on into Newport here. High tide Sunday at 8:46 p.m. So we may have some problems as we go on through the daytime hours today there. Falmouth, Mass, same thing. Your next high tide coming this morning. I got that onshore flow, so maybe some problems there, Chris, with that water rise.
Meanwhile, I want to get an update on what happened in Tennessee. Severe weather in Tennessee on Saturday, bringing devastating flash floods. 10 people are dead, dozens more still missing. In this video, you can see a funnel cloud twisting over a Nashville suburb. And a flash flood watch is still in effect until 9 a.m. I want to show you the radar. And where the rain is right now, a lot of the showers have weakened and just some few storms pushing into Georgia. Things quiet in Tennessee, but man, did we get hit hard this afternoon. Tragic event here in Middle Tennessee, just to the west of Nashville, in the communities of Waverly. I mean, catastrophic flooding, serious damage to numerous homes, and you can get an idea of the totals that we have seen here, not just localized, but very widespread. Many areas saw over 6 to 8 inches of rain, some areas over 10 inches, and we had a pocket there, even along parts of I-40, that were over 12 to 15 inches of rainfall. A lot of that fell in about a 4 to 6 hour time span. So unbelievable. Improving conditions, in fact, partly cloudy skies, maybe some fog in Nashville and especially across the flooded regions of Tennessee, given all the moisture left on the ground. But no more rain, really. Maybe a brief shower. Nothing that's going to cause flooding. All the storms are going to be here towards the coast. Those will be in the form of afternoon, evening thunderstorms from Florida through the Carolina coast and the Georgia Isles. But it's something that we'll continue to monitor here in Tennessee. Stay with us here on the Weather Channel. What more? Continuing live coverage, of course, starting in just a few minutes from coastal New England and Long Island.
Hey, Lily, I need a new wireless plan for my business, but all of my employees need something different.
Oh, we can help with that. Okay, imagine this, you're a mover.
Rob. He's on the scene and needs a plan with a mobile hotspot. We cut to downtown. Your sales rep, Lisa, has to send some files, like ASAP.
So basically, I can pick the right plan for each employee.
Yeah, I should have just led with that.
With AT&T Business, you can pick the best plan for each employee and only pay for the features they need.
Think premium can't be capable? Think again. Introducing the first ever AT4 lineup. Premium and capable. That's professional grade from GMC.
If you have a typical airline credit card, you're not getting double miles on every purchase.
You're right. I only get extra miles on some types of purchases.
May I?
Please.
With a Capital One Venture card, you earn unlimited double miles everywhere. Yes.
Everywhere is great, but where can we use them?
You can use them on any travel purchase, not just some travel purchases.
Venture gets a gold star.
What's in your wallet?
Welcome the rainbow. Taste the rainbow.
Mission Control, we are go to launch. She's eating the rocket.
Lunchables, built to be eaten.
Hi. Spectrum's new advanced home Wi-Fi gives you even more control and security for your Wi-Fi network, all through the convenience of the My Spectrum app, where you can personalize your Wi-Fi network name and password, manage who connects to your Wi-Fi network and when, create schedules to pause certain devices at specific times, like bedtime. You can even reset your router with the tap of a button. Download the My Spectrum app and take control of your network with advanced home Wi-Fi. Visit spectrum.com to learn more.
This summer, spend less time staring at your screen and more time applying sunscreen. Scan here for a chance to win a real vacation in the sad. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer. As real as it tastes.
Icy hot. Ice works fast. Heat makes it last. Feel the power of contrast therapy. So you can rise from pain. Icy hot.
Innovative climate team at Pattern are connecting you every day to the most fascinating stories impacting our planet. Rely on the climate experts with the most trusted name in TV news. If it's out there, it's in here, the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, cloudy with periods of rain, high 76. Rainfall possibly over 1 inch. Tonight, rain, low 72. Chance of rain, 70%. Rainfall around 1/2 inch. Monday, considerable cloudiness with occasional rain showers, high 85. Chance of rain, 70%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Whoa, well, you don't hear that often. I thought that was a steel drum. Front and center, look at that manhole cover. Yeah, that's what that is. It's rattling in the streets here of Hoboken, New Jersey. The gutters became overwhelmed, the streets became overwhelmed, and that manhole cover's got something to say, too, with the heavy rainfall. In the early hours now, that heavy rain continues to push on in through central and south central Jersey, Chris, and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I would move my car. I wouldn't let my car next to that. If that were, those sometimes can explode and pop up. And
I wouldn't be that close to that.
I know.
Taking that video.
I mean, it could be zoomed in a little bit, but whew,
right.
It does sound like a steel drum.
It does.
The calypso bands, you know?
Yeah. We wish, right? Well, Long Islanders also preparing for what's coming here as the rain's going to start hitting some of the roads here shortly. People exiting en masse here. Lines of traffic went on for miles as people scramble to get out of the hurricane's path. So you can see the folks there on the left. You're getting out. Person taking this video getting in, but maybe somebody that just takes video. Most public transportation across the region has been suspended until at least Monday. Beaches are closed, and it would be a pretty day anyway. So as we take a look at what the latest is, we're still waiting for the 5 a.m. advisory here from the Hurricane Center, but we're still at 75 as of 2 a.m. Cat 1, Chris, 987 millibars, still moving north at 21. That is the biggest number I want to see at 5 a.m., how quickly it's still moving north.
Yeah, and direction, too. Is it jogging slightly to the north-northwest? Because we're getting close to crunch time, and it can mean all the difference. 20, 30 miles can prevent you from getting those hurricane gusts, which are a lot more destructive than, say, 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. So that's something we're watching very closely. Still a hurricane at 75 miles per hour. Don't anticipate a ton more strengthening. Either way, we're looking at a strong tropical storm, weak hurricane making landfall somewhere between Long Island and Rhode Island, including parts of Connecticut where you've got those hurricane warnings posted.
Yeah, and the difference for where the center goes could mean, impacts on the western edge to, you might be going, well, where's Henri? And it's possible that some expected it may not, especially if we continue with that jog, Chris, off to the east.
And you can see that path. It moves quickly, but then slows down after landfall. You can see by tomorrow night, we're only in Massachusetts. And then we'll be picked up by a front that will eventually carry it off towards the northeast. At that point, much weaker, and then turning into more of a wind and rainmaker for parts of New England. But you can see the widespread power outages likely, especially near the coast in Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts.
Yeah, and we hope that we can limit this. When you get power outages, you always think that time you got caught at a power outage and you weren't prepared, hopefully you got those things ready for this event as it comes in.
Yeah, sometimes it's like charging your phone and the wind starts getting bad. You're like, oh, I've only got 30% left on my phone. I got to get that charged. Do that hopefully this morning if you haven't already, because those winds are already increasing close to tropical storm force in Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, and only going to be going downhill here along the coast. Look at the rain, too. You can see the different models. They're in good agreement on where we expect some of the heaviest rainfall to occur. Let's get a look at some of those coastal impacts. We'll start in Montauk, New York. We know this is going to be a vulnerable location, and we're going to have live coverage here in just a few hours from our teams all across the Northeast. Take a look, 40-mile-per-hour gusts. They'll begin here shortly, and then the worst of the winds coming in, say, around lunchtime, maybe a little bit later into the afternoon. Rainfall is going to be a big concern here, flooding likely. For Nantucket, already getting over 25-mile-per-hour gusts. We had gusted of 35, so those tropical storm force winds are expected from now through landfall, and that will continue through the afternoon. Rainfall, though, lesser here, as we'll be on the east side of the system. All right, so there's your 5 a.m. gust. This is pretty much on par from what we're seeing. Edgartown on Martha's Vineyard, gusting to 40 miles per hour. And Ray, you can see how things transport, but we've got the latest update in. What is the Hurricane Center saying?
No changes to the watches and the warnings, so they're all going to stay in place. One of the more significant changes I did see, the biggest change is that it has slowed down, but just a little now to 18 miles per hour. There's the information up on screen. Still coming in at 75 miles per hour. This is the 5 a.m. advisory. New information coming in, 75 mile per hour storm, location now 80 miles southeast of Montauk Point in New York. So, Chris, just a small slowdown in the forward speed.
Yeah, so let's see the warnings. Again, no changes here as Ray mentioned you've got tropical storm warnings that include New York City and even parts of the Jersey Shore. You've got hurricane warnings in the purple, central, eastern Long Island, southern Connecticut, New Haven into New London, and then southern Rhode Island, including Newport. And then you've got those tropical storm warnings for Hartford, northern Connecticut, northern Rhode Island, and parts of southeastern Massachusetts. Looking at the radar, man, that band is now coming into Narragansett Bay, southern Rhode Island. Newport, you are next, and we're likely going to see gusts here over 30 to perhaps 40 miles per hour. We saw that in Nantucket when that band came through. And then flash flooding, a big concern here over New Jersey. Look at all that rain, Ray. Not really moving a lot at all.
No, it's really not moving. That's when we get big problems, and problems are going to start now as we watch Henri make its approach. As we'd said, the 5 a.m. advisory in. Wind stay the same, and I tried to look at the track. It looks like from the cone, maybe a few more miles to the east, so some toward the west may not feel, maybe has some more significant impacts as we head on through the coming hours. All right, we're going to bring you continuous updates. Reynolds Wolf coming up live at the top of the hour, along with Kelly Cass and Jordan Steele.
DIY means having the right tools, but at the Home Depot, that means more than hammers